Hold on.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
It's me. It's bonus content.
Yeah.
I'm Alex. Tony's here.
Hi.
Just you and me, buddy.
I'm afraid.
Have we done bonus content just the two of us before?
No.
No, I'm sure I have. Even Scott are schmucks.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I've been on every show this year.
Yes, you have. As have I.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's gonna change. Are you and Scott gonna do a Tony Scott cast when Nabish and I are in San Francisco?
I mean, I'll do something.
Okay.
Just be me and Danny Juarez
All right.
hanging
I look
out.
forward to it, whatever it is. Who are you
Danny is going to be in San Francisco too,
Yeah.
but he's going to be on the show, not you.
Okay. I mean, I see how it is.
Yeah.
Who are you gonna try and find as a last minute guest? Who is your go-to?
Dan Reichert, probably.
Dan. Yeah. You and him are pretty close.
It's me and Dan, you know.
Besties. One might even call you.
Yeah.
How you doing, Tony?
Oh, it's good.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah. Everything
it's all
about
good.
It's all right.
The whole situation.
I'm pretty tired, but
I'm pretty tired too. If that makes you feel any better.
Coffee cast, you know.
Coffee cast. I mean, I've always wanted to do like a morning show, so we could do morning. I'm drinking tea.
Oh, this was a mistake. I did not mean to do this.
Don't believe you. I'm pretty sure that's what they call muscle memory. Or muscle milk. I'm still trying to find out the difference.
Yes, they're pretty similar, but one of them is just way more delicious.
I mean, yeah. Tony, can you tell me something?
What?
Sorry, I was checking something, and it made me think of the question that I'm going to ask.
Okay.
Even though you said something ridiculous just a second before. How do you feel about cosmic brownies?
Oh, they're pretty good when I was 10 years old.
Yeah, but like, how do you feel about them now?
I don't know. I haven't had one in 22 years.
So you're 32.
Yep.
You're saying. They taste like dirt garbage.
Do they?
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to try it.
No, I just like Damien posted this picture on Facebook. Our mutual friend, Damien.
Yes.
And it was like things I remember getting in my lunchbox from like when his mom packed him his lunch. And it was a picture of a Twinkie, a picture of a Hostess cupcake, a picture of a cosmic brownie, and then a picture of a little handwritten note that said, "You're a disappointment to our whole family."
Nice.
And I commented, "Man, cosmic brownies tasted like dirt garbage." So I thought that was the only appropriate response.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had them in a very long time. So
they're bad. You should have one just so you remember how bad they are.
So what you're saying is once the show ends, I need to go to the store, buy cosmic brownies, come to your house with alcohol and cosmic brownies, and then
no coming to my house.
Then we'll play Mario Party.
No, you just made the cosmic brownie situation even worse.
That was the plan.
You know what? Like also sucked that I thought was good when I was like 10. Zebra cakes.
Nice.
It tastes like dirt as well. I'm just saying, like, there's like this.
I wonder if those like peanut butter and chocolate wafer things are still good.
Oh yeah, those. I bet they taste. I bet they're fine.
What about those oatmeal pies?
No, oatmeal pies were always bad.
No, those were great. I love those. Are my favorite.
People also like the burger cookies. And
I've never had that.
You never had a burger cookie?
No.
It's like, oh, they're fucking made here in Baltimore. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
So who cares where it gets made?
You know, it was also made here in Baltimore. Domino's Sugar. That's a good product.
You know what else gets made here in Baltimore? Domino's Pizza.
Domino's Pizza. Did you get Domino's yesterday?
I totally did. It was $6. Why wouldn't you?
Because I went home and fell asleep.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, was it good?
Yeah, it was delicious.
That's good.
I'm down for a $6 carry out large.
I'm trying to set this so that hopefully ads will play on this afterwards, so I don't have to.
Hey man, whatever you got to do.
So I don't have to monetize it immediately after it goes live.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was your favorite like weird lunch garbage thing to put in your body?
Probably oatmeal cookies.
Really?
Yeah, not like a cookie, but the oatmeal pie things.
I never really liked oatmeal. So
Fair.
Danny Juarez just texted me and said, "You're beautiful and I like your shirt." Danny, are you doing anything right now? You want to get in on this?
He actually snapped me, and he's in a car.
Damn it.
So
Get in here in this bonus. We should have just like a weird bonus content part where we just have like 6 different people in during the bonus content and have none of them on during the real show.
yeah. All right, see ya. The bonus content's over. Get out.
Whoa, hey, no, don't treat our video viewers like that.
Get out, video viewers.
They're very loyal. They watch every week. Bear Courtney out there somewhere watching a video version of Rational Passions podcast. This tea is delicious. Black tea is my favorite.
Is it?
Which I found out is probably because it has the most caffeine in it of any tea.
It's the least tea-like of all the teas.
Really? How so?
I don't know, because green tea seems greener than.
Great. Okay, because that was your entire argument. Got it. It's the least tea-like. I was waiting for you to say because it's black, and then I was gonna be like,
no. Why are you racist?
Says the guy that says something is black most times on the show, hands down.
Alex, you got some black on your shirt. I'm gonna need you to remove that before we start the show.
I am wearing my Spider-Man shirt. I went and saw the Civil War movie today.
Yeah, I saw that you did that.
It was really good. I know you don't give a shit about superheroes.
I mean, I do. I just don't give a shit about movies for the most part. Yeah. I just don't go. I haven't. The last time I went to see a movie, I don't even remember what it was.
I've seen 3 movies this year, I think. Which is Captain America, Batman v Superman, and Keanu.
Yeah.
The movie with Key and Peele, which was actually really great.
Yeah, I still didn't even go to see Star Wars.
That's a good movie. I mean, it's on Blu-ray now.
You can go get that movie now.
You can just go watch that movie from the comfort of your home.
That's right.
It's weird because like I used to be like, especially I think it was last year, I went and saw like the most movies of any year I've ever lived.
Oh yeah.
But like just like come January, I was like, man, I really don't want to get my ass up to go to the movie theater. I also saw 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I was disappointed by, but that's fine. It was a good movie.
At least it was a good movie.
Yeah, it just like didn't do it for me like it did for a lot of other people.
Sure.
What superheroes do you care about, Tony?
I care about like Captain America, John Madden,
Lloyd the Bonairs,
The Flash,
John Madden, Alex O'Neill, John Madden, and The Flash. That's like a Justice League like one-off that I really want to see.
Yeah, those are my superheroes.
Are you going to see Civil War at any point ever?
I mean, if I like, maybe.
Okay, it's really good. Spider-Man's in it. That's why I'm wearing my
symbiote
shirt. He's really funny. He's just a great part of that. He's my favorite part of that movie. In a movie full of favorite parts.
Nice.
So.
I mean, I'll probably, if it's a good enough movie, I'll go see. I don't know, but like I said that about Star Wars, and now what happened?
So, boners happened.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
Captain America: Civil War is better than Star Wars.
Is it better than
Episode 7?
The Batman movie?
Which Batman movie?
Whatever the one that it was. Maybe it was a Superman movie.
Batman v Superman.
So it was both. All right, whatever. So the last Batman/Superman movie that just came out, that everyone was like, "This movie's great," and then the next day everyone was like, "This movie sucked."
That movie was not great. It was never great.
And then Alex was like, "Hey, do you like this movie?" And I was like, "That movie sucks." And you're like, "You haven't even seen it."
Yeah, well, you haven't. You were saying in a very misleading way that other people think that movie sucks.
Yep. Like Alex O'Neill thinks that movie sucks.
Yeah, it's way better than that movie. It's like it makes that movie look like a big dung pile of garbage.
Fair enough.
A big poopy garbage.
A big pile of garbage trash.
A big garbage butthole, like a garbage, like a Garbodor and a Trubbish took a shit and then left it behind.
Gross.
Those are Pokemon.
Yes.
My Xbox just turned on for some reason.
Xbox turn off. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's not gonna listen to you. I have headphones on. Yeah. No, it's way better than that. Like the thing is, there's like like 11, 16 superheroes
Mhm.
in this movie, most of whom have had their own movies or have at least been in 2 other Marvel movies. And like it has no problem like juggling all these different characters. Like everybody gets a moment.
Sure.
Everybody can shine through, especially Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. He really does amazing in like the scenes he's in. So excuse me while I sip my tea.
Yeah.
Um and like Black Panther and Spider-Man, who are like the new guys on the block, like you just immediately accept them into the fold.
Cool. I mean, we'll see. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'll get around to it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a good movie though. You should probably
Yeah.
watch it.
I mean, probably.
You should also watch the Thor movies
Okay.
because I love those movies.
All right. I mean, we could snuggle and watch movies together.
No, Tony. You're gonna keep.
You're not giving me much encouragement to go watch any of these movies. Then
You're giving me. You're gonna try and weasel your way into my bed multiple times.
I mean, last time I didn't have to weasel my way in.
Well, that was
You
more
joined me last time.
It was more out of necessity. The fact that we were 11 people in a hotel room together. All right. Do you want to like keep on bonus content in until Scott shows up, or just like
I think Scott's dead.
Scott's usually dead? Are we gonna do this 2-man show tonight? Are we doing this?
I don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you actually talk and don't play Dark Souls 3 the whole time and actually pay attention.
I have no reason to play Dark Souls 3 anymore.
Yeah.
Other than it's just a good game and I'm planning on streaming it. I was going to stream it today because I forgot we were going to do a show. And then.
How can you forget? We do it every week.
Yeah, I just forgot what day it was.
All right, that's fair. You got the Dark Souls 3 Platinum. That's bonus content worthy.
Is it? I think that's more show worthy.
Is it?
Because it's video games.
I guess since you're going to talk about how you got it, what you did, who you had to murder to get it.
No one. I didn't murder anyone.
It's not what you told me. It's not what you told those kids. Yeah, I don't know. Congrats, by the way.
Thanks.
It seemed like a really hard thing to get.
It was a very tedious platinum.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the hardest one ever.
I just imagine you didn't do anything but play that game.
Yeah, well, I've had the game for now 11 days. I got it 10 days after I bought it. I finished the platinum. And in those 10 days, I played Dark Souls 3 for a combined total, not including loading times, of 75 hours.
Why is that not including loading time?
Because in-game time, and I learned this by watching a Dark Souls 3 speedrun, because in-game time does not include time spent in loading screens.
So it's like easily 2 hours there.
At least.
Yeah. Although the loading times in Dark Souls 3 are actually pretty good.
They're not as bad, but like it makes it so like it sucks to even like watch a Dark Souls 3 speedrun, because literally like every time they get to anything where like if they're opening a door or like just like they quit out of the game and get back in like at least 80 times throughout the speedrun. Which is really dumb because it saves time, right? Because the time like they'll start opening a door and then they'll immediately quit out and load back in, because that time for quitting out and loading back in, while it's a little bit longer than the time it would have taken to open up the door, it's not counted towards their time because the speedrun time only is a measure of in-game time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they'll quit out and join back into the speedrun, and so you just get to look at the loading screen of people quitting out and going back into the game tons of times over and over again.
That's stupid.
Yeah, so I watched one Dark Souls 3 speedrun, and I don't think I'll watch another one like that again. Like if they speedrun it at like AGDQ or something like that, then I'll watch it. But if they're gonna keep doing that, like if they don't change that, then it's just dumb. Like I don't think that that's a good way to speedrun a game if you have to quit out of the game like 80 times in one playthrough.
Yeah, so. Like I understand like trying to keep the in-game timer down, but like you're wasting time otherwhere, like other places.
Yeah, it's just like I think it's a dumb technicality that they're taking advantage of.
Yeah,
so
I concur.
But whatever.
Well, I mean, at least you've been ruined on Dark Souls 3 speedrun.
No. I mean, it still was cool to watch the speedrun, but like, I'd be more interested, I think, in like an any %. But a lot of the speedruns that they're doing right now are like, well, not 100%. They're just all bosses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool though. I don't know, like I'm still having fun with Dark Souls even though I'm done like with the platinum. I did the entire platinum with one character, and my second character I'm just playing through for fun. So
Danny Juarez texted me and said, "Not true. Tony killed me." So I just want to
what?
As somebody, you killed somebody to get the Dark Souls platinum.
I mean, Danny helped me out for sure.
And then you said you killed him.
It's funny though because like what Danny ended up helping me out with was the easiest part of the platinum.
Oh yeah, sick burn, Danny. Get fucked.
We spent a long time. I'll talk about it later. But yeah, Dark Souls is cool.
All right. I mean, I did stuff this week too, Tony. You could ask me about that.
I will. I haven't even finished talking about my week yet.
Oh, really? What did you do?
Yeah, I went to work.
Okay.
And then after I went to work, I played Dark Souls, and then I went back to work after I slept.
You were sleeping at least. That's good.
And then I had to be awake at 4 a.m. this morning to pick up my sister from after prom.
That sucked.
And then I went to sleep after that. I slept from 7 p.m. till 2 a.m. last night, and then I got her, and I was up till like 6, and then I went back to sleep, and then I woke up at 1:30, and then had to be at work at 2. So, there was like a concert happening today near where we work.
Oh, in Merriweather?
Yeah, so that was awkward because it took forever to, like, all the parking spaces were full, and ugh.
Yeah. I'm glad I missed that. I don't know who's playing.
And it took me 45 minutes to drive home because you can't go like the quick way, and there's police blocking off all the places because you have to drive right past the thing. So
yeah. I'm like actually live in like the perfect place to get to work from, like to avoid Merriweather completely from where I'm at.
I like skirt right around the outside.
Yeah, which is lucky. How do you feel about schools putting together a thing that they call after prom just so kids don't go fucking each other?
I mean, I thought it was fun when I went to it, so I'm not complaining.
This was my after prom experience. I had to leave almost immediately, even though I wanted to stay, and like, oh wow, I paid like $5 and now I can watch literally any movie in a movie theater.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That'd be cool. I had to leave almost immediately because at that point, Damien and I were living together, and he's like, I have work in the morning. And I was his ride. And I'm like, Damien, you're ruining the only good part of the guy who went to prom by himself.
We danced. I remember.
We did dance. I danced with a lot of people. But like after prom is where it was totes cute. Please relax, Tony. Please keep it in your pants. And I'd just like leave almost immediately, so that sucked. I really wanted to watch that Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Oh God, I don't remember what was in the theater when we went to our senior prom.
On Stranger Tides, is that the fourth one? I don't even know.
I probably never even saw that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, all my friends fell asleep immediately anyway. So
I don't remember what I did. I think we also fell asleep in a movie theater.
Probably.
I don't know.
It's weird and kind of malicious that schools are like, we're gonna do this so y'all don't fit.
It's more so that like people aren't just driving around.
I mean, like I drove home, I think.
Yeah, well,
my brother picked me up.
You're supposed to drive home from after prom, but like just like the reason is like right after prom, like it's that what you said too, but it's also like they just don't want people to immediately like driving everywhere because a lot of accidents happen.
Getting drunk because everyone's drunk.
Exactly.
Somehow everyone showed up. A bunch of 18-year-olds got fucking wasted.
Yeah.
And showed up just plastered.
Pretty much.
I mean, there's a talent to it for sure, but where was ours? Ours was at College Park, right?
What are the actual prom?
Yeah.
It was in like the fancy ballroom of College Park, and then our after prom was at a theater.
I had to explain to one of our coworkers who has a 14-year-old daughter what a homecoming dance was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's where you go and everybody puts their butt against dicks. And that's the only explanation that you should have given them.
I did not tell her that. There's a small sect of people that just do some fucking right there in the middle of the dance floor.
Yeah, that's weird.
Maybe that was just our school, though. I like to hope that was all high schools always, forever, except for the 50s where everything was like super tame. Hey, Gus. Oh my God, Gus is here.
He's the guest on our show.
He's the guest. He's the gust.
The gust.
Yeah, come here, Gus. What's up, buddy? Yeah, I don't know. Homecoming is gross and sucks anyway. So
I mean, I didn't go my last 2 years. I went my freshman and sophomore year, and it was fun. I don't know, but like I just ended up getting super busy in high school. I remember being very busy all the time because I was in so much music stuff.
Yeah.
So like I just didn't feel like going to it the last 2 years, but I did go to prom instead of homecoming for that. So
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
mean, like the first time it was fine because like I asked a girl to homecoming. It
And
was
then
all,
she was like, "Yeah."
no, no, she totally rejected me.
She was
But
like, "No."
but I asked somebody to a school dance. Like I can say that I could knock that one off my bucket list. Gus is here now. Hi,
Yeah.
buddy. Hi. So like, uh, that's good. And like,
Was it the pretty girl Scott?
pretty girl Scott. It was
Yeah.
not Scott.
Ask Scott to the dance.
I should have asked Scott to the dance.
You guys would have been cute.
We would have been cute. I think Scott was there. Maybe
Who would have been the female in your guys' prom relationship? Who would have worn the dress?
I would have.
Okay.
Why is that funny?
It's just funny.
I would have looked fucking spanking in a dress. Are you kidding me?
Who had like I don't remember what it's called, but like a flower bracelet on.
Look at this fucking cat.
I see it. I see the cat.
Fucking clawing at the blanket that I'm using to keep my body warm. All right. I think that's a good wrap on bonus content.
Yeah. High schools. Well, I mean, let's talk about your week because we didn't.
Oh yeah, thanks Tony for remembering single tier. I mean, I didn't have that interesting a week. I think I did something earlier this week. After the show stopped recording last week. Jesus, Gus, you have so much hair. I hung out on Skype with Roger and Caleb from Bonus Points.
Yeah.
Caleb had some more stuff he wanted to talk to me. He's trying to get bonus points on iTunes in like audio format.
Awesome.
So that's good because like I told him, we had a good conversation about it too. Because he's like, I think people tend to like try and push content the way they want to consume content, right? So Roger, who does a lot of the publishing, he watches mostly video stuff. He doesn't like do audio podcasts that much, but Caleb does, so that's why he's trying to figure out like how to get that audio out there. Oh, you were so cute, Gus.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me for a second. I was like, oh.
Well, I can't see you. You don't have a camera on, Tony.
Yeah, I was thinking about turning it on, and then I didn't want to change my shirt, and I also didn't feel like opening my laptop.
By change your shirt, you mean you're just fully naked?
No, I have my work shirt on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I just got home now an hour ago. So
okay, you don't change as soon as you get home.
Usually I do.
Just throw that thing off me.
I usually immediately get out of my pants. Because who wears pants at home? Like
really though, crazy people.
I change into my American flag pajama pants.
Fuck yeah, I'm wearing my Hogwarts pajama pants right now.
I don't have American flag pajama pants. I should get some though.
I have Captain America pajama pants.
That sounds like a good idea.
I should have worn this Civil War because then I would have also been very comfortable.
Yeah. I think everyone should just wear pajama pants all the time.
Yeah, make this a social norm or jeggings.
You have two options: pajama pants or jeggings. Take your pick.
Let me wear my Jimmy Jam Jams or jeggings, also known as my Jimmy Jam Jams.
Yeah.
My cat is freaking out right now. He is loving this. Let me see. I talked to them. We had a good conversation. Talked about some stuff. I'm working with Roger on like a couple of like he's like trying to help me out with some video stuff.
Sure.
And this other podcasting project that I've kind of alluded to on here, and that you know about. But he's trying to help me make the cover art for that. So hopefully, like, I just need to kind of figure out a color scheme or something for that.
Neat.
So I've been working with him on that and being super lazy and writing. Then the Persona stuff happened. So that was like my whole week. Thursday was a good day. Like it started with a new Persona trailer.
Yeah.
And then like some other good stuff happened and Captain America. It was good. But yeah, I guess like I just didn't sleep very well this week.
Gotcha.
The insomnia, man. It's killing me. It's at the worst it has ever been, I think, this past week. but I made up for it today by just like not moving in my bed, but only.
That seems like a good idea.
I mean, like I slept a little bit, not a lot, but it was good. It was a good time. You ready to do this?
Yeah.
Get our.
Let me. I don't have anything ready.
Oh, I mean that's good, Tony. At least you came prepared to this.
I mean, I could have done that like the whole time that we were talking, but I didn't think about it until just now.
All right. I'll remind people watching the video, if you have any questions for us live, and I said this last week, and Nabshin put out a reminder earlier today, you can tweet at IrrationalPod with the hashtag IPQ, and we can answer it. You can do that anytime. We'll answer that in the mail sack if you send it like during the week. But we'd appreciate that.
We totally would.
IPQ. That's Irrational Passions questions.
I wasn't aware.
I mean that's why I said it, Tony. So you'd be fucking
Thanks.
aware. I should probably make like an overlay that has that up here as well.
Yeah.
Keep it sexy. Is Scott dead? Like
I have no idea. I like every once in a while go looking for Scott, but it's like
I can call him.
You can try. I called him already.
I'm not gonna let his phone number play. I swear. Hold it to the center of the mic. He's probably asleep.
I wouldn't put it past him.
YouTube keeps saying like, try a faster and easier way to stream.
What's
like,
that?
Like what?
Yeah, what is it?
Don't want that to play. Yeah, nothing. We did get a voicemail though. From a certain Kissling.
A certain. It's just Mark.
I really hope it is just Mark.
It's like, well, we couldn't make it happen, so I'm here. I'm like, it's not the same.
Single tier.
You wait for your turn.
You wait your turn.
Nah, don't wait your turn.
All right. I assume you're ready now?
Yeah.
All right. On 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Whoa.
It's gonna be the first 2-man Irrational Passions podcast in a long time.
It's gonna be the best Irrational Passions podcast in a long time.
Wow.
Take that.
Bold.
Scott.
Bold statement. I'm trying to think of what the last 2. I think it was Nobshin and I. Were you and Nobshin maybe? I don't know.
I remember the last 3-man show that I was on. Big Black and Otak.
Oh, there was a 3-man show last week.
I mean, that didn't include an Alex.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, what the fuck are you saying, Tony? All right.
Okay, fine. The last 3-man show that mattered.
Oh, wow. Ooh. Ooh. It is Saturday, May 7th, 2016, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I'm Alex O'Neill, and with me this week, I have Tony Horvath.
I thought for the last, 5 minutes about, not 5 minutes, really more like 10 seconds, about how to, be Scott and Nabashin's intros all in one and then have my own thing in there, but it just got way too complicated, so here we are.
And here we are, yeah. No Scott or Nabashin.
Nope.
I mean, Scott might show up at some point. We don't know.
Who knows?
He's probably asleep. I don't think Scott sleeps. He's like me in that regard.
So, your guess is as good as mine as far as Scott sleeping or not.
Nabashin's off.
He's a vampire.
Yeah, he's working that grind, trying to get that money so he can fly out to San Francisco with me and not have to worry about dying of starvation out there. So, I don't know when he's coming back. I mean,
never.
Don't say that. Please don't. We're hiring for a 4th host, looking preferably one of anime named fame.
Yep.
No,
all you have to do is beat us at Evolve. Now there's only 2 of us to hunt you, so
and 2 AI. Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure Scott would show. You know how Scott loves Evolve. So I don't know, man. Like, I think he's like planning on coming back at the very latest after Kind of Funny Live too. So,
Fair enough.
but you and Scott are gonna have to figure that week's show out
Fair
yourselves.
enough. It'll just be me by myself.
But this is it. 2-man show.
Yeah.
Tony Horvath and Alex O'Neill coming at you live
I'm so sorry. You got to deal with Alex for a whole week.
in advance. I mean, this will be fun. We got stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Persona Watch. It's happening, Tony. There was a new Persona 5 trailer this week.
I watched it.
Did you watch it? I watched it like 17 times.
I watched it once.
So they're fucking like, hey, guys, live stream event. This was like announced last week. I said on last week's show, by the time the next week's show, this week's show, the show we're recording right now happened, we would know the Japanese release date of Persona 5. And here we are.
When we know it.
And on the other end of the spectrum, and we know it.
I also know the English release date, and a representative from Atlas has contacted me. But I am under very strict no talk about it policy, except among friends. Therefore, I can't talk about it on this podcast.
There are no friends here.
No friends here.
Yeah, so Atlas did like a little live stream leading up to revealing some new characters, some new party members. A big 4-minute and 20-second trailer.
Yeah, it was super cool.
It was great.
Super dope.
Some hyperbole, but also no hyperbole. Best video game trailer I've ever seen. It's definitely my favorite over the that initial gameplay trailer.
I'm a fan of like the funk music that they play in the ads for this game.
And yeah, they released revealed the release date. It was September 15th in Japan.
How you feel about funk?
I love funk, man. You know what?
Uptown really funk you up.
Uptown funk me up. You know what I really love?
Funk you up.
Like, okay.
What?
I like a really funky electric bass, electric bass in the background,
when you can just hear it thrumming.
Especially the slap bass, right? Like the you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's fucking in the new Ninja Sex Party album. There's a whole bunch of that, which I'm a big fan of. So
cool.
So there's a little bit of that in Persona 5. It's very funky. GameSpot put out an article where they just took a bunch of GIFs from the trailer of the UI and just had a bunch of them laid out, and it's just there's so much fucking style in that game. If we want to talk about most style, this game's got it in spades. Have you figured out who Bay is yet, Tony?
Main character senpai is Bay.
Well, I mean, I'll be totes. Yeah. But do you see any Bay?
I am going to reserve judgment until after I've played the game.
That's fair. I'm kind of in the same place, though. I mean, there's definitely one character that's sticking out to me more than the others.
Marie.
Hashtag the cat.
The cat.
No. But yeah, there's just a lot of characters revealed in this trailer. It was kind of exactly what people were craving for, what I was craving for. Sure. You know, when the last trailer came out, it's they're not showing anything in social links. In the menu, it doesn't have a social links option, and there's only 4 characters that they've shown. People were, I could sense this kind of seeding concern happening in the background, but this trailer seemed to address some of that. So
yeah,
looks good. Still
no
explicit details on how the social link stuff will work, but I said last time we talked about this, I think it's just going to be very different across the board. It'll be more inherent in the rest of the systems in the game.
Sure.
But yeah, it looks great. A lot of characters, a lot of it looks like the worlds and the levels that you're going around are way more intricate.
Mm-hmm.
There's that big space world, and they're jumping from these giant towers through space. And going, it's way more vertical, way more exploring. And I don't know, it just seems like if you think back to Persona 3 and 4, for me, one of the most boring parts about those games were just the dungeon, right? It was just kind of a plain dungeon, and that way it could be randomly generated or whatever.
I think
It was
my favorite
different.
part of Persona 4 was definitely like the not in the TV world.
Yeah, like everything outside of it,
Yeah,
or
like stuff that happened in there was cool, but I was more on board for everything else than just the the actual like gameplay part of it.
yeah. I mean, I love both. So
Sure. Yeah, and I think like I feel the same way about it, but that's kind of like that's like where the major part of what I liked about the last Persona game came from.
yeah, it seems like the lines are more blurred with Persona 5, right?
Yeah,
Because like there's exploration and fun and character to be had in whatever alternate world that they're exploring as well.
sure. And like in Persona 4, there's a lot of exposition to get through
Hmm.
before you kind of get to really any like big gameplay.
Yeah,
Because I don't know if I would count walking around for the first couple hours as gameplay.
no,
Uh, it's more like you're reading a story, so you're into what's going on.
yeah,
And that's cool. But like it is, it's a different style.
yeah. I think it's very similar in Persona 3. I think they get to it a little bit faster. So I'm curious to see how they do that with 5. But yeah, like I said, if there's one complaint, it would be like these randomly generated levels are cool because they're different every time you explore a dungeon, but they're also just super plain and boring.
Sure.
Um, and now it seems like the level design is like fucking off the chain.
Off the chain.
Yeah, very vertical, very a lot more like an actual open world. It seems like you can explore, and like there's one cut where like the character is like sneaking around, like jumping from posts, and he jumps up on a shadow and like slits his throat, and that's what initiates combat.
Mm-hmm.
So like a back attack or whatever, or an advantage attack. So and then you hear the same like shattering sound of like combat starting. So that's cool. That game looks fucking incredible. I wrote a
Yeah,
whole thing about just like how confident they seem in this game and how nice and refreshing that is. And hopefully I'll post that soon. So anyway, end of Persona 5 break.
yeah,
Anything else
man.
you want to say about it, Tony?
It looks like it's going to be a good game. I'm excited to check it out. So
Yeah, it'll be at E3. They
yeah,
also announced.
yeah, I
So,
did see that they said there'd definitely be something at E3. So I guess
so
look forward to E3.
I either something in English with like English dialogue or just English subtitles, but I'm expecting a Western release date at E3. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm expecting it to be very close to the Japanese release date.
Do you think it will get pushed into like January?
I doubt it. I think it's a this year release.
Yeah, I feel like that can like comfortably sit in like December even and be fine.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, if you're watching this show right now and you've never seen anything about a Persona game, get out of your house. Go
uh,
learn. You
did
need
some-
culture.
I like honestly this just like Persona uh like 3 and 4, this also just seems like a great entry point.
Yeah.
Which is great because like with all the Persona 4 multiverse that they've built, you can't really jump in at any point with those games, but from here, like even people who've never played a Persona game can just play 5 and they'll have their own Persona game,
Definitely.
which I'm super excited about. Back to your regularly scheduled Irrational Passions.
Tell me about your games.
Well, housekeeping.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I know. Everyone forgets about housekeeping. Housekeeping.
Uh-huh.
So some stuff went up on the website. I'm trying to think. My Mages of Australia preview is up, which that game looks cool. My Outlast preview's up. I don't know if that was up by last time we recorded. I think it was. The cover art for last week's podcast is up. Did you see that, Terry?
I haven't. Should I go see it?
You should go see it.
All right, let me go see it. Excuse the typing.
It's fine. And the Capcom Pro Tour 2016 May Roundup is up. So Mr. JC Ramirez, also known as Silver PR, got that up, and that was good. He got some. Did you see it, Tony?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. He got some good feedback from some other FGC reporters, it looked like, and he's looking to incorporate some of that in his next roundup. So that was good. It went up a little bit later than we were hoping, but it's all good. It's all up. if you want to stay up to date on the tournaments and who's winning and who's kind of marking on the leaderboards online, that is where to do it. I didn't know, and I don't know if you know this, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
In the Capcom Pro Tour, basically the like top ranked worldwide leaderboard people will also be like pulled into the final tournament.
Oh yeah.
So they'll, I don't know if they'll get flown out for it, but they'll be at least invited. So if you do well on that game online worldwide, you will also get access to like the kind of tournament scene. So
That's neat.
I think that's really cool. And I didn't know that. And if you'd like to know more about how that works, you can actually go to the banner image for the website that is the Capcom Pro Tour one. Kind of gives a rundown of how the Pro Tour works and where everyone is coming from. So, and it's good. It's succinct. So BR did a great job with it. So
Awesome.
now we can talk about games.
Okay.
Did you play anything, Tony?
I mean, yeah, I only played one game.
You played Dark Souls 3.
Yeah,
How's that going for you? You platinumed it.
I did. I finished that game 3 times.
Yeah. How was that third New Game Plus?
It was basically a speed run
Okay.
because I knew where the rings were. And the only reason you have to go through the game 3 times. Technically, you like if you don't go do it the way that I did, the third time that you finish the game, you get the third ending that you need because there are that many endings and that many trophies for endings.
Mm-hmm.
But the main reason is that there is a trophy for collecting all of the rings that there are in the game. There's also a trophy for getting every miracle. There's a trophy for getting every pyromancy. There's a trophy for getting every ring, and there's a trophy for getting every gesture. So the last one that I had to do was to get all the rings, and the reason why is you can get everything else in one playthrough pretty much. There are some things that you have to kind of work around as far as like just different specific NPC side quests get you different things. But as far as like specifically for miracles, there's a side quest that you have to do that you pretty much will invalidate a different side quest that you need to get other stuff if you do it in the first playthrough. So it encourages a couple different playthroughs, but the only one that you have to like for sure do different playthroughs for is the all rings achievement, because you are trophy wherever you're playing the game. Because to get it, you have to get all of the rings, then all of the +1 rings, all of the +2 rings, and the 1+3 ring that's in the game.
Mm-hmm.
All the +1 rings are available starting in New Game Plus, and then all of the +2 rings and the 1+3 ring are available in New Game +2. So at the very least, you have to get to the third one, and I think there are 6 +2 rings, and the last one that you get is literally after, like right before you do the last boss. So you have to get all the way through the game on New Game +2 to get that specific trophy.
Sheesh.
So the way that I did it was my first playthrough was relatively blind, but I did go through pretty slowly and got a lot of the things that I needed. My second playthrough, I played I kind of mapped out what I needed to do to make sure that I wouldn't miss anything, knowing that if I for some reason did miss something, then I'd be able to go and find what I needed on my third playthrough. It would just be more annoying because as you get through the game, stuff gets harder, and I stopped leveling. So
Mostly
I wasn't
getting harder. So
yeah. So what I did was I did the first 2 playthroughs, and by the end of that, I pretty much had everything I needed. There was one trophy that I didn't get that wasn't the ring one, which was get all miracles, and to get that finished, I needed to get a specific amount of. You have to get to rank 3 or rank 2 rather, I guess, with a couple of different covenants, and to do that, you need to farm 30 of that covenant's like loyalty item, for some of them, it's relatively easy. For some of them, it is mind-numbingly boring.
yeah.
Because of the way that invasion mechanics work. Technically, I could have made it easier on myself if I was going through on my first playthrough and trying to do it. But the way that I went through the game kind of prohibited that. So at the end of New Game +2, after I'd gotten all the rings, I had to go through and basically there's a set of knights right before one of the areas in the game. There's a couple silver knights on a giant staircase.
Yeah.
and they have a very, very low chance of dropping Proof of Concord Kept, which is uh, the item that you need to increase loyalty with the Dark Moons. And Dark Moons are annoying because the mechanic of that covenant is what they do is they get summoned to a person who is in the Way of Blue covenant to their world when they get invaded by someone else. Then there's a chance that they summon a Dark Moon or a Blue Sentinel. So there's so many, like there's a level range that you have to fall in. Then the other person that's getting invaded has to be in the Way of Blue covenant, and you have to be kind of like active during that time. You get summoned more if you're active instead of just sitting there. So there's a lot of factors that go into if you get summoned or not. And
so
then
it's easier just to farm it off an NPC.
Kind of like it ended up taking the same amount of time, just based on how low the drop rate was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like even after you get summoned in, you don't get your Proof of Concord Kept unless you kill the invader. So
yeah. It's so weird because like I'm thinking about it, and like item farming I never really did because like there was no coveted serpent ring in Dark Souls 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I mean I don't want to say like it didn't matter as much, but I guess it was just like less of an issue of like drop rates and stuff. Like the only thing that I know people really farmed in Dark Souls 1 was humanity. And you just farm it off rats and whatever. And
sure.
So like I did a lot of farming in Dark Souls 2 for materials and certain items, but yeah, it's
yeah, there are a couple different like basically the way that it works in Dark Souls 3 is that when you reach rank 1 with a covenant, which is when you turn in 10 of whatever that covenant's item is, then you'll get something. And then when you reach rank 2, which is when you turn in 30 of that item, then you get another thing. And they are a couple miracles and rings that you can only get by doing that.
Yeah.
So that's what that ended up taking a while. But yeah, like my third playthrough of the game was really just like, because I'd already been through it a couple times and I knew exactly what I needed to do. Like the Catacombs of Karthus, which was the place with the giant rolling ball of skeletons that you fell off the thing in.
Yeah, thank you. I remember.
I finished the Catacombs of Karthus in like 6 minutes.
Nice.
Because literally you put on the spook sorcery so you don't take any fall damage. Mm-hmm. And when you run in the front door, you literally just run forward, fall off onto that big staircase with the rolling skeleton and skip half the dungeon. Mm-hmm. Then you just run, and then you run around the corner, go over the bridge and fight the boss. So so it's kind of stuff like that. Like I didn't even go to Smoldering Lake, that kind of thing.
I haven't gone back there yet.
Yeah, that place is interesting. So there's some stuff going on. The game is really cool though. Like the last boss that I had to kill in New Game Plus 2, which is my favorite boss in any Souls game that I've ever played, but also probably the most difficult one, was very challenging.
Was that the one that we were talking about last week?
Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. But it was a lot of fun. I'm happy that I'm done with the platinum. I have a second character that I've started and kind of just going through regular new game with it, playing in a different way, because I played my entire like 64 hours that are longer than that I spent on that character getting the platinum all with one build. So I did experiment with changing to a different build at the very end just to farm those knights quicker, but yeah, there are a couple of things that I was able to do. Like there's an item that you put on your head that increases your item discovery by 100. Then there's a ring, a +2 gold and serpent ring that increases your item find by another 100. So like with those two items plus the golden coin of item finding, then my original 109 item find went up to 359. So nice. even with that, like I was farming it and getting probably like 2 or 3 drops per hour. And like, if you know that area, literally you get up from the bonfire, you go kill 2 knights, and then immediately go sit at the bonfire over and over and over again.
Arduous.
That's one of the reasons, like I knew that was coming when I first decided that I wanted to probably go for this platinum. And that was one of the reasons why I cited that I wasn't sure if you would ever want to get it when you did say to me that you were looking for it.
Yeah, I've done stuff like that before, like mostly with Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. In Dark Souls, it can be kind of infuriating. Yeah. Because like the whole time, especially the last 3 that I needed, because I had finished everything else at that point, and all I had left to do was I had to farm like 14 more of those Proof of Concord Keps, and I was literally just. I put on the bomb cast. I finished the bomb cast. I played the beast cast. I finished the beast cast. I played the bomb cast again. Then I played a Kind of Funny podcast, and I was still not done.
Nice.
That was a pretty shitty day.
Yeah.
So, but I got it done, so I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
And that Dark Souls is still fun. So even after doing all that, I still like the game.
Yeah. Do you have any ranking of this compared to Bloodborne now after having platinum both?
I mean, like, I haven't. I don't know. Like, I need to play Dark Souls, and like, the thing is, like, I didn't ever play Dark Souls 2, and it was a long time ago that I played Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
So there, I'm not as connected to the world as like a lot of people who are playing the game who have played the previous ones are.
Yeah.
As far as like the story and stuff, there are things that don't make sense to me specifically for that reason. So it's been a bit harder for me to wrap my head around all that stuff. Whereas in Bloodborne, everything is kind of there for you, and it's at the beginning of like that whole universe anyway. So stuff is a bit like easier to pick up on. At least I think so.
Insular, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like that about the games, but I just haven't had a chance. Like, I haven't had a chance to really like sit down and kind of like go through stuff and that kind of thing yet. But as far as like the combat goes, I'm a fan of both. I would have to go play Bloodborne again after playing this much of Dark Souls 3 to kind of figure out which one I do like better. But I am a fan of the strategic element that is more present in a Dark Souls game than perhaps in like Bloodborne, where you're more rewarded for being very aggressive. I think that after I got like 2/3 of the way through my first playthrough of Dark Souls, it didn't matter to me as much if there was like a regain system anymore. I was just used to how it was, and like and I had enough resources, right? Because like I was fortunate enough to find all of the undead bone shards and all of the Estus shards in my first playthrough. And they kind of pile them on near the beginning of the game. So by the time I was in the coming down like the home stretch of that game, I already had everything maxed out, pretty much, or one or two upgrades away from it. And so I never really had any issue with my resources. As far as like having to farm for stuff, when I played Bloodborne, like I never had any issues in the beginning of the game, which I know a lot of people who played Bloodborne did, and then they would like run out of blood vials and didn't have any quicksilver bullets, and then that got really annoying because they're like, I got to go farm these early game enemies that suck to get a couple blood vials and then try the boss, and then I die.
Yeah,
right?
That was never an issue for me.
And like that was never an issue for me, and I've heard a lot of criticism of Bloodborne specifically about that kind of issue. So I think like my experience with it is the same as like a Dark Souls game where you sit at a bonfire, everything comes back, you get your stuff back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is nice like not having to like travel back to the hunter stream or whatever.
Yeah, I'm super excited to play characters that focus more on the different schools of magic. The character that I'm playing right now has a little bit of pyromancy, but is essentially a miracle-based character.
Okay.
I use the Estoc that you start with as an assassin, and there is a miracle that the lightning blade miracle that puts lightning on your sword. And then for stuff that is immune to lightning or resistant to lightning, I use Karthus Flame weapon or whatever. It's the Karthus Flame something, which is the fire buff for your weapon that pyromancy uses. So I'm kind of now going through it's more like a sword mage rather than just like a sword and board kind of like just run through, slash everything up. So,
yeah, more like sword and board.
Yeah, I actually don't have a shield at all equipped on my new character, so
there you go.
That's been interesting. I'm excited to stream more of that playthrough as I go through it.
Are you all in on the Dark Souls 3 DLC downloadable content?
I'm cool with it.
There are going to be two I still like don't know too much about it. I guess there aren't a lot of details out about it, but there's a season pass which I didn't even know about, which is $25. There will be 2 expansions.
I'm down with more Dark Souls stuff.
I've still never played a Dark Souls DLC pack.
Oh yeah. Well, as long as we get more maps, I'm excited for more maps for the PvP.
Yeah, I need that map pack.
Yeah,
really,
or a map hack. You know what I mean?
Oh God. Yeah, I mean the Artorias to the Abyss stuff, which was apparently pretty cool in Dark Souls 1. Still never touched it, which I still really want to. And then the 3 bits of DLC, which actually adds an alternative ending to Dark Souls 2, which I didn't know about until I saw Ali's video on it, and an alternative final boss or an additional.
I'm down with alternatives.
Yeah. I mean, like the the Scholar of the First Sin edition of Dark Souls 2 was on sale for PS4 and Xbox One this week for like $14.99 with the Gamer Club unlocked at Best Buy.
Sure.
So I was thinking about maybe just running and grabbing that and playing through that game again on PS4. So
yeah,
I don't know. If you remember correctly, my PS3 was dying a slow.
Yeah, I remember when I had it. It was kind of
some weird texture
not
bleeding.
At its best.
Yeah.
I remember posting that on my Twitter, like weird like stuff happening when I was trying to play.
Yeah. I like still don't know why that happens. It still happens. So, I mean, I've been using my brother's PS3. Oh God, Nobshin is watching, and he jumped in the Google Hangout and said, or not the Google Hangout, the Google Doc, and said, write some freaking titles.
Oh well, that's never gonna happen.
So I'll try and because there's two of us. Okay.
We're busy.
I've been playing Dark Souls.
Yeah, tell me about your Dark Souls.
So, speaking of like the Karthus, whatever.
Catacombs of Karthus.
Catacombs of Karthus. That's where I was last time we left off.
Okay, so you haven't actually played since then, because I think I was there for some of that.
I did play since then.
Oh, okay.
You were there?
Oh, that's where we talked about last week.
Yeah, last Saturday. Okay. That's where I was at. So streamed a little bit after the show, and I think I did, or at least I did Sunday. Now I've gotten to that point where Tony was kind of alluding to last week, where I've been here before. I was losing my mind.
Yeah, it was really cool, wasn't it? Awesome moment.
Yeah, and I just sent Allie a DM. Like when I got there, it was like at 3:00 in the morning in Eastern time. I was like, "Oh my God, it's this place! Oh my God!"
Yep.
And she was very excited. And
Did you find the thing that I talked about?
So I went back looking for this thing.
Yeah.
On my most recent stream, I couldn't find it.
Okay.
So I think I'm at the point where I'm ready to just know where it is.
Okay. So I'm surprised that online play, like messages haven't ruined it for you. Maybe they will when you go and actually see where this thing is. Mm-hmm. But if for people who are listening to the show, we're talking about what's it called? We're talking about the Blade of the Dark Moon Covenant.
Yes, I knew it was that covenant. But
yeah, so basically, like I think we talked about it on the show last week. I said, sort of cryptically, that to find it, you needed to play very close attention to the spinning thing that gets you up to Anor Londo.
Yeah.
So the
Spoilers.
idea, yeah, whatever. If they're not down for Dark Souls spoilers, they should have stopped listening when we first mentioned that we were going to talk about the platinum for the game.
Well, I'm not entirely down for Dark Souls spoilers, but.
Right, of course. Well, I'm not talking about the end of the game, right? So, but I feel on that note, I feel like I could tell you pretty much anything that happens in Dark Souls and like how to get anything at this point. So I think that's cool.
That's good. Yeah.
But so to find that covenant, you have to you go on the spinny thing and you make it spin all the way up to the top so you can walk out of the bridge onto where Anor Londo is, and then you want to go down the stairs to basically where nothing would be, right? And then you go to the end of if you go to the end of the bridge at the bottom, near the bottom of the stairs, and you look forward, you can see a tower there. Off like a little bit to the right if you were to walk straight out, but there's no way to get there. Secret is that if you just walk off the edge, there's an invisible bridge between the spinning tower and that tower in the distance, and if you go to that tower, that's where the Covenant leader.
That's like totally what I thought it was. I was sitting there like looking at it, and I'm like, goodness. And there's a stream, so you can see my entire thought process of this like go by. I was like, couldn't there be a bridge here?
Yeah. So every time I go past there now, like when I was farming at the end of,
there were no messages.
There was a ton of like, there are online messages. Like I was cool with it when the online messages were not on the invisible bridge, but now they're just on the invisible bridge, like here. And I hate that. Like, I feel like that ruins it for anyone who's trying to look for it, or like, it's just like happens upon it, and then it kind of ruins it. Because if you find that without like, without trying, that's a whole thing. Like, I don't know because this game, if I fall off, I die and I lose my stuff, and that's awkward. And So like you're kind of discouraged from ever doing something like that, but it's super cool.
Yeah, because I was like when the tower was like raised up and then you can peer off the edge on the side. I was like looking down and I brought out the binoculars. I'm like, I can fucking see a bonfire there.
Yeah, there's a bonfire right there. So yeah, all you have to, if you walk straight out, then you can just walk straight all the way over there. Then I don't think you have to roll, but I was always too afraid to just walk right off the edge. So I would always roll straight towards the bonfire, and then the Covenant leader is right on the opposite side of that building. It's pretty cool. There is some armor that you can find, I believe, in that building as well. Also, did you join the Mound Makers Covenant? Because there's a whole thing about that near the beginning of the game.
The Mound Makers Covenant.
It's the Purple Bros.
I did not.
Yeah, so you can still do it, but you have to. The only way to get it for you in your game now is if you've been progressing a specific NPC's quest line that will give you access to that covenant. But technically, you've already missed joining it the way you're supposed to.
Okay.
And the way you get into it is at the beginning of the game when you're going through the undead settlement. You know, the one with the big tree at the end. So you by starting the tree fight, that you invalidate getting into that covenant the normal way, because you know how there's a giant pit below the boss fight.
Yeah,
that's the home of the Mound Makers Covenant, right? Because that's where the altar is. To get there, you have to, when you're going through the undead settlement the first time, instead of going like when you know that one clearing with the evangelist and then the ton of dudes around a fire. There's an Estus shard there. Instead of going straight, you go across the bridge. There's a ring there and a couple other secrets. But if you go over there and then you go across like the roofs to the right, I'm pretty sure that's where it is. I'm like visualizing this in my head. There is one enemy with a cage on his back that patrols that area. And if you sneak up behind him, you get an option to interact with him and you can get inside his cage. And he walks you down to that covenant, and then you meet the covenant leader there, who, when you're fighting the tree boss, he gets killed by the tree falling down.
Oh, okay.
So that's how you join that covenant the real way.
That's really
I didn't know about that either till much later, but yeah, that's a cool thing.
Yeah,
there's some neat stuff in that game.
So I can't get in that dude's cage anymore, I'm guessing.
No, you can't. I mean, maybe I've never gone to try after you fight the whatever it is, the rotting greatwood, I think is what it is.
Yeah. Right.
But I've never tried it after that. But I tried it on my new character that I'm going through the game with, because I learned about that after I had been through it. And that's super cool because you get a whole cutscene and you get to talk to an NPC that you normally don't see. So
yeah, that's really neat.
There's a lot of really cool stuff in Dark Souls that like a normal playthrough just doesn't see. There's some neat stuff that you do with NPCs.
I like that a lot though, because it gives me a lot of reason to go back.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that you still probably want to go check out. Like there's neat stuff that happens. I don't know. Have you finished the Anne Orlando area yet?
Yeah.
You can get up to like the bedrooms and stuff from the previous Dark Souls games, and then there's stuff that happens there, and there's a whole cool thing. So it's neat. I like watching stuff about Dark Souls now that I've been through it, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't watch things before.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you appreciate like the nuance too, is like because you've experienced that world, right? You did all the exploring, and like you're like me, like you take your sweet time through everything, and yet you still miss things, and you start to see like the more intricate stuff. I don't know.
I like that it's there when you want it to be, but you don't have to buy into all that if you don't want to.
Yeah, if you also just wanted to play like an action game and then beat it, you could do that.
If you wanted to just go, in the words of Aaron Hansen.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's weird because like when I played through Dark Souls 2, I got like way more lost in that game, but as a result, I'm pretty sure like I found almost all the secrets in that game, because like when I started looking stuff up after I had beaten it, like there were no real surprises left for me. There were a couple of things that I did like, and they're all streamed, so they're all still in that archive on YouTube of just like kind of cleaning house before I started New Game Plus, which I just then never started New Game Plus.
Sure.
But yeah, I'd seen most of it, like just kind of going through it, which was cool. I'm just like Dark Souls 3 is formatted a lot differently, so I'm into that. But so let me tell you this NPC in my Firelink Shrine.
Which one?
The guy with the rock on his back or whatever.
Yol of Yondor.
Yeah, he's just dead. I don't know what happened.
He super just died.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing with him.
Okay.
that I won't talk about because that has a lot of implications for a lot of things.
Okay.
I will say that he is directly tied to one of the endings of the game.
I figured that was the NPC that you were talking about that was tied to the.
Yes. Yeah. So, well, I probably wasn't talking about him earlier, but that's okay.
No, like it was like last week.
Oh, then probably. Yeah. So there's a whole thing with him and like a whole system based on the stuff that he has available for you and all that. It's really cool. There's a lot of neat stuff. That the ending tied to that guy is the one that I got on my first playthrough. Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of neat things that happen as a result of going through with that. And it's not so cryptic as you would. It's not as cryptic as you would expect it to be. So.
I figured because like I never did his thing where he's like, "Let me find your true power." I'm like, this seems shady. I never did that, so that something bad was going to happen to him.
Yeah, well, he dies regardless of what you do at that point. It's just he dies for a different reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's another character that replaces him if you do take the power from him, basically.
Oh, okay.
And you use that character to kind of catapult you into the rest of the game. So.
Okay,
it's neat. There's some stuff. There's a whole mechanic that is very reminiscent of the Dark Souls games of the past that is tied to interacting with that character.
Is it hollowing?
Yeah, so that's how you get hollowing is by talking to that guy. Yeah. So my character looked like an undead person for a long time.
Mm-hmm. So. That's what I figured. That's why I was too nervous to go through with him hollowing my ass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, free levels, right? I'm down with free levels.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. So then, as far as progress is concerned, got through that the revisited part, which was amazing. Very cool to see that, like, clearly hundreds and hundreds of years later. Boss there was cool. So now I've killed all the major bosses, save for the last one, and the dude that's just sitting on his throne. And just gives you a cool weapon.
Wait. So what was the so the last guy that you killed was which one?
Yorn, the giant.
Oh, Yorn. Okay. So you still have a couple to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, presented wise.
Yeah. So have you fought the dancer?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm in Lothric Castle, so I guess I'm like at the point.
So you fought the dancer. Have you been to the point with all the Dargans?
No.
Okay, so you're at the very beginning of Lothric Castle.
Yeah, I haven't really played a lot.
So. Okay, yeah. So the first bonfire of Lothric Castle is where Danny and I used to hang out all the time.
Yeah, that's like when he had gotten there. I saw like when he was streaming. Yeah. I saw just that bonfire.
Yeah, that's where we hung out.
So when I got there, I was like, "Oh, this is the bonfire that Danny was at."
And now you're where Danny was.
Yep. So how much left do you think I have?
So you have. Let me see if I include every optional boss.
Yeah, do that.
You have. I'm trying to like think this without saying all the bosses' names.
I found like the weird naked wolf dragon guy.
The weird naked wolf dragon guy.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm not positive.
He's like just a Bloodborne boss.
The Consumed King. Osiris.
Yeah, the guy who talks to you.
Yeah. So did you? Yeah, he's blind.
Yeah. I could tell when he looked at me and he had no eyes.
Yeah. So that's why he talks at you so he can hear. So you killed him.
I haven't killed him yet.
Okay,
I got to him.
You have left,
and then I almost beat him, and then I died.
You have the boss for the lake.
Yeah.
You killed the guy in the Profane Capital, so that's done. You killed Yorm. You killed the Abyss Watchers. You killed all the guys in between that, and you killed the dancer. Okay, so you have those guys. Then you have at least 6 more bosses, at least.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, but I believe it is 6 more that you have, including those 2 that you already kind of know exist.
Yeah.
So technically you have 7, but you have 6.
Cool. Yeah, and I just really like that game.
Yeah,
it's fun. There's like a lot of weird like nitpicky stuff I have with it because like there's like different size shields now.
Sure. Great shields and like regular shields. And
I mean, like great shields versus like regular shields
bucklers.
Were always like normal and bucklers, but like now like because I guess I switched from like a large shield which has no parry to I guess a smaller or medium shield which does have a parry, but it has like also a smaller hitbox. that
Yeah.
I'm not as used to.
So are you using, which shield are you using now? The
The Dragon-
Dragon Crest one?
yeah, the Dragon Crest one.
Yeah, it's a good shield. It's got a blue dragon. Cool.
Yeah, it's got more magic resistance and it does have parrying. So, yeah, it just like the hitbox is throwing me off a lot more. Enemies do a lot more damage, which I saw some people tweeting about at some point.
Yes, enemies do a ton of damage when you get into New Game Plus, and
I'm sure
ugh,
it's
New
just
Game Plus 2 is so much damage.
it's weird. It's just it's such a different thing for that series.
Yeah,
Like
I just
Bloodborne
don't
was kind of-
see. I just don't see how you could play a Dark Souls build that uses a shield with any shield that doesn't have 100% physical resistance.
Yeah,
Like there's just no way. Like it uses. Like I had to kill those knights on New Game Plus 2, and they take my entire stamina bar with one hit. And if I feel like, and they do so much damage when they hit you that I, with like, maxed out character basically, for it is at least in a PvP sense. It was a whole thing. So
yeah. It was definitely like there's definitely been more frustrating moments, not because like the game is necessarily difficult, just because like the systems and they're kind of rebalancing and retooling of everything is maybe not to my liking in some regards, like very specific things. So it's like
I think that's okay.
Yeah, like it's not like anything that's going to ruin my experience or anything like that. But it's just stuff that I've noticed, right? So
yeah,
but yeah, that game's all right.
Dark Souls pretty good.
I'm glad that you like it, Tony.
I do. I'm a fan.
All right, I want them to make a Dark Souls 1 remastered. That's
or
like
Dark Souls 2 that I can play.
That exists already. It's called Scholar of the First Sin. It's on PS4 and Xbox One.
All right, I didn't know. Maybe I'll play it.
We talked about that earlier.
All right, whatever.
Earlier in this episode.
Did we?
Yes.
I blocked that out. I blacked out.
I said the Best Buy has Scholar of the First Sin for like $15 for Gamer Club Unlocked right now.
Huh.
For Xbox One and PS4.
I blacked out for that point.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm thinking about getting it.
So. I might. That's pretty cheap. Have you been able to get like any free shit based on how many games I've bought with that yet?
No. I got a $5 credit, which I'm going to use for Uncharted 4.
Hey, that game probably sucks.
Yeah, probably.
People at work got so mad at me when I said I didn't like Uncharted.
Nice. like that conversation that we had when we were watching E3 together, like when they were like doing like the action set piece, and you're like,
yes,
I'm really like over like the third person shooter.
I'm so
action
over
set
it.
piece. I'm like, I totally get that. Like I'm down for like one more ride with Uncharted, right? That's why I like Last of Us so much.
Never again.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm over it as well, which is weird because I'm like the guy that's way into the JRPG emotional set piece, which I can put in quotes very heavily.
Yeah.
But I, that stuff plays more to my liking, especially like where I'm at as a person. But I like, that's why I like Last of Us so much, because there aren't a lot of set pieces in that game. There are more like emotional moments, and it's a lot more subtle. It's not a lot of like bombastic explosions and driving a Jeep and yeah.
It's just too much for me.
I get that though. Like I don't think anyone should hold anything against you for that. That makes a lot of sense. There have been a lot of that in video games.
Yeah, I really wish that I had more time today, because I wanted to check out like the Overwatch beta and everything as well. I just haven't had a chance to do it.
Yeah, me too. But I slept all day.
Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe after we can play some Overwatch.
Yeah, I mean, I have to download it and everything.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny because when you put it in your downloads, it's technically a music player.
Weird.
It's what it says. It says music player.
That is super weird. Other stuff I've been playing, Spelunky, as always. Just played more of that. It's like, it is super weird for me, like, not to get to like the City of Gold on a run now, which is.
I mean, one would imagine you'd be pretty decent at a game after playing it for so long.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's a gratifying feeling to feel like I've made so much progress.
Yeah.
And more Ratchet and Clank, just kind of playing around in that world. I'll play that for maybe an hour or two a week now.
Sure.
Where I'm at. I think I'm on the second to last area.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I really like it. I just really like the fact that this is in a lot of ways a remake of the first game. And then like seeing those set pieces brought back but done so much better. There's flying in ships and like space combat, I guess you could say. But not a lot of like, I wouldn't say space combat, but like flying over cities and airship like wing combat. So that's cool. That was stuff in Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal. That was
I love the names of Ratchet and Clank
yeah,
games.
they're all great.
They're so funny.
Quest for Booty.
Yeah.
So good. So like it seems like mechanically more of a combination of the first 3 games all put together, which is cool. It makes sense for a reboot to do that, and I'm excited to see how it ends because I'm excited to see what their new jumping off point for this series is.
Mm-hmm.
And I want there to be more of this game. So
You know what I just had? I had a good thought.
What?
We need to get together and just commentate over Scott playing through Dark Souls for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Just live stream that whole experience.
As long as he uses bush tactics.
Well, exactly. Because I watched Scott play pretty much all of the first 2/3 of Bloodborne.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott has a very like intriguing way of approaching Souls games that I want to watch more of. So
he taught me everything I know.
I'm sorry. I'm super interested in what weapon Scott will end up playing when he plays that game.
Yeah, he always goes two-handed with those games.
The thing is, like, when I played through, I was using a one-handed straight sword. But I two-handed that bitch so many times.
Yeah, I mean, like, I never do. Like, I'm always one-handed for the most part. I'm always speed over power, right?
Yeah, sure. I feel like with a lot of like the way I fight bosses, there are times when I know that I'm gonna have this much time to hit the boss, and I would like for my attacks to do this much damage for that, and then get out of there.
Yeah, totally. Like in Dark Souls, I think I min-maxed that kind of damage to spare time ratio a little bit harder. Like I'll two-hand way more in those games. Bloodborne, I definitely played a lot more.
In Bloodborne was different, right? Because they're all transformed modes of the weapons, and they did different things, pretty much fundamentally different things when you changed what mode they were in. Like, for example, the weapon that I used for most of the time that I was working on the Bloodborne Platinum was basically a one-handed sword, and then you turned it into a giant motherfucking two-handed scythe. So,
the mechanic of that in Bloodborne was so cool. Is you could have multiple weapons, and then each weapon has a different facet.
Yeah, and to kind of round out the whole like thing, we ended up back on Souls games again. I do have a problem with two-handed weapons in Dark Souls 3 that I just don't think that they work well. But other than that,
so many people use them though. It's so
like
crazy.
The mercenary twin blades and like the Goddard twin swords and all that stuff. Like I guess I just don't play that way, but like there's a lot more of like mixing which buttons you're using to attack and in what order and all that stuff. It just doesn't appeal to me.
I like the Dancer twin blades.
They're cool, but they suck.
Yeah, they're not very strong.
They have descaling and everything. So
great.
Yeah.
I like at least I look cool when I use them. So
yeah. Plus, like I bought them on my first playthrough because I thought they looked cool, and then I realized that I would have to go and get a thing on my second playthrough because the boss soul of the dancer is used for a specific spell. So also I got a Havel's ring on my first playthrough, and you needed to get the boulder pyromancy. So that was all stuff I had to work out in the next playthrough. But anyway.
Yeah, not the end of the world though.
No, it was still fun.
There's one more thing I was gonna say about Dark Souls. Don't remember it.
I guarantee I will never use that Blade of the Dark Moon miracle that I had to work for hours to get.
I remember using that a lot in the first Dark Souls.
I don't even know what it does. I got it and then I stopped playing.
Pretty sure it's just like magic weapon, but better.
But there are already 3 levels of magic weapon before that.
Dude, I don't fucking.
So what differentiates that? Because there's already like magic weapon, greater magic weapon, and then
greatest magic weapon,
and then crystal magic weapon.
Oh, okay. I have greater magic weapon right now.
Yeah, the next one you get is a crystal one. I think you get it from a thing that you fight in the area right after the one that you're in now. So cool. You're almost there.
I have a question about Dark Souls 3. Because it's just the two of us, right?
Yeah.
We're the only people fucking playing that game, so whatever.
Yeah, they're not any other people that keep invading me and getting wrecked. Anyway.
So after Lothric Castle, does it like keep going, or is it going to be like when you get to Lothric Castle, where like you like also go back to another area and a new path opens up?
So you mean like after you get to the end of the area that you're in right now?
Yeah.
So like you've got a couple different sections of Lothric Castle to go through.
Mm-hmm.
At least one more after the one that you're in. That's like a major area.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, that's kind of, I mean, you know, obviously it's leading up to a Lord of Cinder in Lothric Castle, right? Like that's not a surprise to anyone. And that's your fourth Lord of Cinder. So after that, you're going to go do something else.
Yeah.
So you're going to get to the end of Lothric Castle, and that'll be the fourth Lord of Cinder. And then once you've got all four Lords of Cinder, plus whatever his face transposing guy who just sits in Firelink.
Do you have to murder him and put his thing there?
No.
Okay, good. I didn't want to. It would break my heart.
Yeah, well, he's still going to die, though.
I will, obviously. Everyone's going to die. Yeah. Okay. I just want to know.
Yep. There's at least one more large area after the one that you're just starting. So, and then there's also the whole garden with Osiris in it. So there's technically two more.
Yeah, man, fuck that garden though.
Yeah, it sucked.
Dragon snake people.
Yeah,
they're not cool. Do we ever find out what's going on with these weird dudes being possessed by black dragon snakes?
By weird anacondas.
Yeah,
that definitely don't want none.
Yeah. Unless you got buns on them.
I don't know exactly what is going on with them. Have you? Okay, here's a question because I think you should have already seen this. No, wait, have you? I can't remember, so never mind.
Can you allude to it in a way that won't ruin anything for me?
Let me see. There's there's another very familiar area in that game that you get to.
No, I haven't seen it.
But it's a different. It's not essentially
kind of a familiar way.
In a different familiar way than
it's not like an area taken straight out of a previous game and put into it.
It's not. No, it's not like you're going to go down to Blighttown again or anything like that. Which that would be interesting.
That would be. Finally, the frame rate's not terrible.
Yeah, right. It's weird. But no, there's another very familiar thing that you do in that game that has nothing to do with a previous Dark Souls game. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you haven't been there yet. And
yeah, if it's not immediately recognizable, then I'm guessing I haven't seen it yet. So, nope. I look forward to whatever that is, though. Yeah, I think that'll wrap up for games. We can take a break, and when we come back, we got just some news to talk about. We already talked about Persona stuff, but we can talk about it again if people really want to.
I can keep talking about Persona.
Yeah, for real, though. We got news and Call of Duty and Battlefields and whatnot. So we'll take a quick break and we'll talk about that in just a little bit.
Choo choo choo.
Choo choo choo.
I'm
gonna go refill my drink.
Hold on a second. Let me figure out where this thing is so I don't go crazy. And then I'll tell you if you've passed it yet or not.
Hey, Alex. Hey, Tony. Have a good show. Go IP.
Trevor sent me a video snap saying have a good show.
Hey. Okay, no. Yeah. It's after the area that you've skipped. So never mind.
Okay.
And I can say that because there's more than one.
Ooh.
No, but you've done pretty good as far as what I've seen as far as like getting most things. Though we did have to be pretty heavy-handed telling you about the Smoldering Lake.
Yeah, like I skipped an area in Dark Souls 2 for a similar reason of like this area sucks and I bet there are more secrets here, but they probably also suck.
It was mostly that like you were so close to like seeing it, except that stupid ladder down that the bridge makes is it very rarely like lets you get on it. So like you have the idea like, oh, maybe the bridge is now a ladder, and then you check it and then it just doesn't.
Yeah, and then you have to wait like 14 seconds before it'll say, oh, now I can descend.
So people like I've watched people go through that area, check and see, hey, maybe the bridge is a ladder. It doesn't show up and they're like, just go on, try other things, right? So like it sucks. But anyway, yeah, that Hyrule area is interesting. And there's a lot more down there than what you've seen.
Yeah.
I could tell you how to kill that worm but I feel like it's better if you figure it out.
I'll figure it out.
Um,
Me and that worm got to get acquainted first.
I just hope that you figure it out before it's too late.
It's not too late. It's never too late.
I hope. He's got an undead bone shard in him, though.
That's good. I do have Estus +4 right now, though.
You got 6 more to find, man.
It gets +10. Jeez.
Yeah. So where have you found them? Because there are a couple that you missed.
I might have +5. I don't know. I found them just spruce throughout.
Did you find one in the snow place?
Yep.
Okay. Do you find one near when the guy throws all the spears?
Yep.
Okay.
That was the first one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other obvious ones. Let's see. Have you gotten? Let's see. I'm just gonna look at where they are, and then I'll.
Well, here, let me go pee. You look that up.
Yeah, I mean, I already got it.
I'll be back.
Okay. I guess I'll go get a drink too.
I'm back.
Hello.
Hello.
So for where you are in the game right now, you should have Estus +8.
Okay.
So and 2 of them are in an area that you skipped. So
Okay.
it's not so bad. You've only missed 1.
Yeah, it's probably a big part of it. Yeah, I mean, I have like basically mental notes. I told you this, but I have mental notes of like I need to go back here and check this out when I feel more confident.
Sure. There's a lot to that area that you haven't seen yet, which is really weird because looks like you've like there's giant crabs, there's a worm, and
Yeah.
There's a whole other part of that area that you just didn't find when you were down there. So
Yeah, I mean, it was late and I was frustrated. So.
yeah, I hear you. But the one, let me see if I can figure out which one is the one that you missed. So you got the one in the undead settlement. So the one near where he throws all the stuff.
Yeah, I think I did.
Did you get the one? Did you get the one in the swamp?
What's the swamp?
Like Fair and Keep.
Yes.
The poison swamp.
I think so. Yeah.
It should be very easy to figure out because it's the one that's inside in the tower with a bunch of slugs around it.
Yeah.
That one's very easy to find since it's right next to the boss.
Yeah.
There is one in the Cathedral of the Deep.
I think I got one there. Yeah. I explored that area pretty thoroughly. So
yeah, there's one in the Catacombs of Carthus.
Yes,
Oh,
I got that one.
you got because it comes out of a rolling skeleton ball.
Yep.
Then you got the one in Irithyll, the Boreal Valley.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you probably missed the one in the Cathedral because the other two are in Smoldering Lake.
It might have been. I'm thinking it might have been the one.
Oh, you know what? Did you get one in
Settlement?
Did you get one in Profane Capital?
Which one's the Profane Capital? It's
That's the one where you fought the giant. Remember where all the weird hand monsters that ate you were?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one there too.
Yeah, I think I got that one. I think it might be the Undead Settlement one.
Really? That one's that one is very easy to see. I'm surprised that you maybe it's because you were busy running from the giant's arrows.
Yeah.
But it's at that
I haven't gone back there to like pick up all the
stuff. Yeah, it's at that the bonfire, right, where there's like the bridge that you can go where like Irina was.
Yeah.
And then if you go like the other way, then that's where the giant first starts throwing a bunch of arrows at you.
Yeah, I think it's there because I remember getting to a point where I was like, I really need better Estus because I haven't gotten it yet, and that being the first one.
Fair and Keep would have been the first one that you found then.
Yeah.
But anyway, then how many flasks do you have in general?
12 or 13.
Yeah, that sounds about right because there are only like 2 or 3 left that you should have not found yet. So they made the Estus flask shards very easy to find. So
there have been a couple that were a little trickier to find, but I just got one in Lothar Castle. So
yeah.
I had with those kinds of things, I don't tend to have too much trouble with them.
Yeah, it's just like I thought that they were some of them were pretty annoying to find. So yeah. But anyway, Dark Souls, good game.
Good game. You ready to news it up?
I can do some newsy type stuff.
Put on your newsboy cap.
Hold on, I got to do a thing real quick.
I don't know what Tony's doing.
Drink.
Oh, okay. Are you done?
Yeah, I did it.
News in gaming. Let's talk about some news.
Okay.
Did you hear about this new Battlefield game?
Yeah, Battlefield 1.
EA announced Battlefield 1
coming to Xbox One.
Coming to Xbox One, in your ones, with your one. Battlefield 1 set during World War I.
I thought this was a joke when I first saw it.
Yeah, it sounds like a joke, right? Battlefield 1. I just cannot get over it. It's both like brilliant and literally the worst.
Battlefield 1, Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, right? That'd be a good combo. Battlefield 1. So it's set during World War I. It is,
no one wanted this.
No, apparently everyone wanted. I saw this tweet earlier this week, and forgive me because I don't remember who sent it. It was like a retweet, so I don't know. I don't follow them.
Well then,
but it was like, this is a very smart move. With all the backlash to the Call of Duty announcement, EA announces a game that people actually want, and I'm like, really?
Who wants this?
Who wants this?
Yeah.
So for reference, the reason why this works, and it is kind of funny, not very, but is the first Battlefield game is Battlefield 1942, set during World War II, and then later expanded on with like Road to Rome, and there's like 2 other expansions or whatever. So that's actual Battlefield 1, but it was never called just Battlefield. So there hasn't technically been a game that is called Battlefield 1. But also, you don't like the first or a 1 in a series doesn't typically have like a number 1 after it. It's just the first. Like Dark Souls 1 isn't called Dark Souls 1. It's just called Dark Souls.
I mean, Dark Souls 1 is called Demon Souls.
It's true. The true Demon Souls starts here.
Yeah.
The game is set during World War I. It's got new melee weapons. They're horses. You can ride horses in this, Tony.
Okay.
Biplanes.
Still never gonna play this game.
Yeah. And there's kind of like a trailer that's not gameplay footage, but it's like in-game, in-engine footage or whatever. Showing off flamethrowers, tanks, battleships, artillery, trench warfare, some trenches. And mustard gas was thrown, which is great. That's nailing it with that one. Someone putting on a gas mask was shown in one of the trailers. Maybe some allusions to some of the characters that might appear in the campaign, and a very weird like dubsteppy wub wub music to the trailer. So yeah, no, I like this was kind of like leaked a little early because of an Xbox One dashboard ad. I don't. This seems like a stupid thing. Because World War One was like a terrible, terrible war where a bunch of people died from like
that trench foot,
the Spanish influenza, and trench foot, and staph infections, and like it was like a very stagnant series of battles where people dug deep trenches, and then like eventually someone got a grenade to another trench, and then it killed a whole bunch of people. And like a huge percentage of the population died. It was just like it wasn't a very intense like moment to moment action piece war, and it also was like a very horrific one, even by comparison to like World War II. So I just like it just doesn't seem like and forgive me for being so crass, but like an interesting video game setting.
Nope, I don't disagree with you. So,
and like. That's why like so people are excited about this, I guess. But I was talking to Trevor Starkey on Twitter of just like this is dumb because the gameplay of this isn't what World War One actually looked like, and two, like it seems like a silly thing.
I feel like it's just that they're like we could cover another future war, or we could do the one war that no one ever wants to cover in their video game.
Yeah, and like there's a reason it's never really been in a video game. It's just, right. And like it's funny, like the one time where I'm like, I gotta know what fucking Greg Blaney thinks about this. I like the one person.
Sure.
And I go and I check his Twitter and he hasn't tweeted in 3 days. I'm like, God damn it, Greg.
The last thing I saw Greg Blaney tweet was just a bunch of like retweets of anime boobs. And I'm pretty sure you saw that conversation because we ended up talking to you about it.
And that at reply he sent to me was the last thing that he tweeted.
Yeah.
Because Greg has been asking for a World War One game for a long time, and he loves Battlefield. He still plays Battlefield 4. I'm guessing he probably didn't like Battlefront because most Battlefront fans were kind of disappointed by that game. So I don't know where he's at with on his bipolar scale of loving EA or hating EA.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to what he thinks of this. But I don't know. It's weird because like the next news story we have is Call of Duty announces, or Activision announces, Infinity Ward's next Call of Duty game, which is Infinite Warfare.
Yes.
Which is set in space, I guess.
Warfare forever.
Like Warfare forever. Like the trailer that they put out, it's Call of Duty, it's robots. It's kind of like a continuation of the stuff that was in Black Ops 3 and Advanced Warfare. Kind of like this kind of near future stuff with machines. And then extended out, and like this person's flying a ship, and then they just do the whole No Man's Sky thing where
and it was multiplayer the whole time.
Yeah, it was zoomed out. It was Watch Dogs multiplayer the whole time. Yeah, they like zoom out above. They go up the atmosphere, and then they're in space, and it's like, oh, Infinite Warfare. So I don't know. That still looks more interesting to me because I like sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like after World at War, I'm so over the World War II shooter because I think that was just a bad video game.
Sure.
Not that like I'm done.
I thought the multiplayer was all right.
Of World at War?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I liked the zombie stuff, obviously. The co-op.
I liked the very first zombie stuff.
Yeah,
I know, and that was the only one I liked. The first DLC map and everything since then, not a fan.
Yeah. Getting some YouTube comments. So we got a couple from our good friend Cameron Abbott YouTube comments here. And I'll just remind people that the best way to kind of, if you want to interact with us live, is to send a tweet at IrrationalPod with the hashtag IPQ, and we can get back to you there. I have like a separate thing on TweetDeck that has both of those in it. So, Yeah, but Cameron Abbott, he says, without a doubt, Persona 5 is going to be off the fucking hook. And then he said also, it will probably be a very bloody and vicious game with lots of trench combat. So we're pull up the full comment. So we're looking at mustard gas peeling people's faces off, machine gun traps in trenches, and trench knife action. Trench knives were brass knuckle, spiked pummeled long knives that people use in close combat. Could be cool if done right. It could be interesting. I just like, I mean, that game's gonna have a story as well, and God knows how ridiculous that'll be.
Yep.
But I don't know, Call of Duty. It's another one of those, Tony.
I mean, I've been pretty checked out of that franchise for a long time.
I have too. Like the last game I played was
I
Black
can't
Ops
remember.
2.
I don't know what the last one I played was.
Which was the last kind of PS3 360 exclusive Call of Duty game. So it was 2012. That was 4 years ago. That's kind of crazy to even think about. Because, like, I mean, what then? Ghosts came out. Remember Call of Duty Ghosts?
Yeah.
That was Infinity Ward's last Call of Duty game. And then Advanced Warfare, then Black Ops 3, and now Infinite Warfare. And this will be the 10th Call of Duty game since Modern Warfare. So, to celebrate
That's way too many.
To celebrate that, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered will be coming out with Infinite Warfare. I almost said Advanced Warfare. So basically, if you get the digital deluxe or the legacy edition or whatever $80, $100, $120 edition of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, you will also get a copy of Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. And there are currently
buy Call of Duty Remastered.
There are currently no plans or no announced plans that it'll be sold by itself.
I think that would be a grave mistake.
Obviously, I'm sure it will be sold by itself. That game came out in 2007, so if you want to let that one sink in, and that's kind of like the Call of Duty that changed it all. It looks like they're redoing the cutscenes and like doing more than just a simple upres, which is cool. And Call of Duty 4 is a great game. And I do kind of want to play it. So that'll have 10, I think, multiplayer maps. So not all the multiplayer maps, but like the 10 most popular out of like 15 or 16. So they're not cutting that much out of it. I'd be really curious to see if they kind of update the multiplayer for that game at all, though, because it's dated by comparison to the current progression systems. But I don't know, like new Call of Duty and new Battlefield games announced this week, and good God, do both of them look kind of boring.
And they're probably both slated for like holiday this year.
Yes, they are. So
yeah.
I think Call of Duty 4 comes out November 4th, or Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, whatever the fuck it's called. And Battlefield 1 will be fully revealed at E3, is I think all they're saying. Yeah, dude, like whatever.
Like, whatever.
I could not care less.
Nope. You know what? I care more about Assassin's Creed than I care about Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Yeah, that's saying something.
That's definitely saying something.
You hate Assassin's Creed. And I'm sure, Scott's probably in the same boat.
Let's just ask him. Hey, Scott. Nope.
Oh, single tier.
Single tier.
And I don't, just more first-person shooters. And it's weird because, like, Dishonored is a first-person shooter that comes out this year. Really excited about that.
I mean, I remember enjoying the first game, but it's been so long since then that, God, I don't know.
You know what they call that one? That's a Greg way right there, because Dishonored 2 got its release date this year. November 11th. So that's the week after Infinite Warfare, I guess. And there will be a full, like, the first ever world premiere gameplay reveal at Bethesda's E3 conference next month.
Please be excited.
Please be excited. So yeah, that I think it was Game Informer's cover this month. 2 main characters, Corvo, who is the main character of Dishonored 1, and the girl whose name I can't fucking Emily.
The girl.
Emily Caldwin. God, jeez. So you'll be able to play as both. I think you can switch. They play differently. I don't know if you have to pick like a protagonist at the beginning or whatever.
I hope so.
Being developed by Arcane, so same developer, PS4, Xbox One this year. That looks awesome. Or like when they showed off that kind of like target demo.
You know what we need some news about?
What?
Mass Effect Andromeda.
That got pushed to early next year.
I know.
That's the only news.
I just want more stuff about that game.
I want to know what that game looks like.
Yeah.
Also, like how RPG is it? What's the dialogue system going to be?
Is there a tally?
Is there a tally? I mean, it's like a whole new crew.
Is there a cute Quarian in general?
Yeah, I mean, it's like
Is there someone who has way too many calibrations and way too little time?
Just like so many calibrations. What are you doing down there all day, Garrett?
Fuck.
Just jerking it so right.
So right.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a group of Milky Way aliens sent to Andromeda, and there's gonna be new Andromeda aliens.
Andromedalians.
Yeah. Like, is there gonna be like some in world or in lore way that they travel around the entire Andromeda galaxy? Are there mass relays in Andromeda? Jesus.
Be cool.
It would be cool. I don't know. Are there Protheans in Andromeda? Or Prometheans. I don't actually know which one it was. Protheans, I think it is. Yeah, that is a game. I think that'll probably be at EA's press conference. Right after Battlefield 1. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about Dishonored 2. I really like the first one. It kind of grew on me as time went on. And the DLC for the first one specifically was like taking kind of those ideas to the next level. So I have a lot of faith that they're going to do some cool stuff with Dishonored 2. In other news, Destiny hit 30 million registered players.
Cool.
And that's up from the 25 million that was reported in November of last year. That's really good. Yeah. Good on Destiny, I guess. Still, are you still excited for like whatever like DLC expansion is coming out for that game as well?
I mean, yeah.
They put out new strikes. Like, who cares?
I'm not like the thing is like I played a lot of Destiny and I like Destiny.
Played more Destiny than like anyone except for Sean Pitts, I think.
I played a whole lot of Destiny and I really like that game, but I'm just not super interested in going back and doing more of the same until something genuinely new comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I think I kind of like I stuck with the game through like the boring part of like when they were just doing like sparrow racing and like they did like a weird like mask event for Halloween, and I think that may have like turned me away from playing the game for a while just until something new happens.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. I'm super like I'll be super excited to go play again when like the next expansion comes out come September. But until then, you know, it's not something that's on my radar. So
yeah, I'm really curious to see what they do with a proper sequel to Destiny.
Yeah, definitely.
How they incorporate like your Destiny 1 progress into that. And now we know that that's not until next year, but I still think that's exciting. Hopefully it's not.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
A thing that's like only works best on PlayStation Neo. I'm like, God damn it. So who knows?
Who knows?
Cool though. I mean, Destiny's a great game.
Yeah.
They really turned it around, and I'm really happy that they did. And that Persona stuff happened. Just to say that again.
Yes, Persona stuff.
Holy shit, man! That game looks so good. I don't know where you're at with it, Tony.
I'm down.
You, much like myself, named Persona 4 your favorite game of all time.
Yep.
A lot of emotional experience.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. It's not like you know, I have a pretty like subdued attitude about it, but it's not that I'm not excited about the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super like ready to buy like that game and play it, and I'm sure that I'll enjoy it, but it's just like that's just kind of where I'm at with it, is like I'm kind of like just holding back my my judgments on that game and everything until I like can see if it's going to be as good as 4 was, right? Because you know, like Perfect World, of course it will be, but we don't know. So
yeah, and I like it's curious because I think you and I obviously have different experiences with it, but because I played Persona 3 and then the original 4 and then 4 Golden, but like I've seen what that studio has grown into, whereas you kind of like jumped in like at the top floor. In a lot of ways.
I mean, that's what a lot of people did.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's an okay thing to, okay place to be.
it's just like my confidence in that title comes from playing 3, right? And
Yeah.
I love 3. Like when I played 3, I was like, this is incredible, and I don't know how they can get better. And then like trying to jump right into 4,
Mm-hmm.
and like kind of still hitting like these burnout points of like I just couldn't get through 4 because it was just another really long JRPG, and I was just in a place in my life where I couldn't do that again. And then like years later, after the podcast started and all this, like playing 4 Golden and like being like, wow, like actually looking at this game like from the ground up again critically is like this is how they improved on almost every aspect of Persona 3.
Sure.
And then like seeing them experiment with Catherine and like seeing just kind of allusions to what they're doing with 5. Like a lot of people think like Naughty Dog is the best developer of video games currently, and I totally understand that. But for video games that I want to play and fall in love with, P Studios like has proven to me that they know what they do right, know what they can do right, know their limitations,
Mm-hmm.
and they know exactly the ways to improve upon like their own formula that people don't even know that they want. Like they're very aware of like the crowd that they play to,
Yeah.
and how to please them and like how to surprise them as well. And that's why like for me, P Studios is like the quintessential video game developer right now. And that's why like I've got so much confidence in this game, and seeing like what they're showing, at the very least I know I won't be heartbroken or disappointed.
Sure.
It seems like they're putting together something truly special. So have you ever thought about playing Persona 3?
I have. I'm like, I don't like. I can't get super excited about going back and playing something on an older console. Like,
I know that's fair.
I could be like, I'm not like against it, but it's on PlayStation 3.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't own one of those. So that's a super big barrier of entry. I definitely never want to buy a PlayStation 3. So
yeah, it'd be tough to.
I just can't justify that.
I've thought about shipping out my PS3 to get modded so I can play Tales of Vesperia.
You're
on
going
PS3
crazy
in English. So we all have our vices, I guess.
And I'm currently considering a Wii U. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then here I am complaining about older consoles, right? So
yeah. I'm working on an article idea as to like, or a video idea as to why the Wii U is still a disappointing console.
mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get that together. I'm gonna put that out there.
I mean, they released Super Mario Maker for it, so it can't be all bad.
It can't be all bad. Exactly, it's not all bad.
What I want to know is, will Super Mario Maker be compatible with the NX? That's what I need to know.
Like I think we talked about it last week. There's just that rumor that the biggest games on Wii are just going to get ported to NX for launch games. I can't imagine Mario Maker not being one of those.
Yeah, if that's what they ended up doing, but it also like that would feel so gross.
It would feel super gross, and it'd be kind of like the worst.
Yeah.
And with Zelda already being ported to Wii U or to NX, like as like the first kick in the nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, what a grim future we live in, Nintendo.
What a dark nightmare future we have. I think that's it for news, though.
Thanks, news.
Thanks, news. Thanks for hanging out. So let's take a peek at the mail side. We got some tweets, and we've got some voicemails. What do you want to go about first, Tony?
Let's go about the textual ones.
The textual ones. I'm checking to make sure we didn't get any emails as well. We did not. Okay. Let's see. We got tweet from Danny Juarez. Remember, you can be a part of the show. Just tweet your questions at IrrationalPod with the hashtag IPQ.
Or, don't.
If you want to. And that'll put you in my little Twitter feed I've got to set aside for this. He said favorite boss fights in games. Danny Juarez at Stoke Danny on Twitter.
Well, I mean, for me, like one of the reasons why I like Souls games is for the bosses. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of cool stuff, and like I think a lot of my favorite bosses just in general come from them. So I would feel out of place not mentioning the best boss fight in all of Souls games, which is the Nameless King.
Mhm.
So he's one of my favorite ever.
Yeah, we talked about him last week. If you want to go check out that show, I have a feeling I know who that is though, and they showed him in the promo trailer.
Yeah.
See, he looks like that guy, but we'll see. I'll withhold judgment. I can't wait to play more Dark Souls 3. Every time we record, I'm like, God, I want to just play more Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at. So
So
we just want to stop the show right now, go play Dark Souls?
No. But, my favorite boss, it's hard. Like I don't know if I have like any specific favorite. Like Terra from Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix is like probably my favorite boss. Any like individual boss, because like he took me 8 hours of attempts to beat. And it's like when I beat that boss, like I had finished Kingdom Hearts 2, right?
Sure.
Like that was like a great like bookend to one of my favorite games ever. And like I think JRPG bosses for me stick out the most. Like Duke, who's the final boss of Tales of Vesperia, is one of the best. He's in my opinion, the best Tales boss ever. Because there are just so many things that happen in that fight and so many like gameplay shifts and changes that are just fantastic. And there's another like JRPG final boss that like the Persona, a lot of the Persona 4 fights are great. The last fight of Persona 3 Fez is great. And a couple of like the final fights in Persona 4 are great as well. Just like JRPGs know how to fucking make a boss feel really epic, I think. And the final boss of Tales of Xillia is also really great. Trying to think anything else. No, I mean like those are my favorite ones. The final boss of Skyward Sword is also cool. Boss fights are such a cool idea. Barrett Courtney at Bananler Chong tweets at us. Do you think the Legacy Edition will sell more than the base Infinite Warfare? No. Next question.
No, get out.
No, I don't think so. I mean, like it makes sense that they're putting the Call of Duty Remastered in that edition, but the Legacy Edition is the highest end edition. I think it's like the middle of the road edition has just the game and Call of Duty 4 Remastered, but no, I think Call of Duty is just it's waning. It's in the backstroke at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron Abbott at Unsexiest Comedy tweets us. He says, Call of Duty Black Ops was my last one. I don't know if this is a question. Oh, here we go. What were your guys' feelings on Dishonored? I personally loved it.
God, I wish I remembered what I thought about Dishonored because
super glad I dodged.
I remember that I liked it.
Uh-huh.
But I don't remember how much I liked that game, which is weird.
It's cool. I mean, remember Corvo? You get that mask, right?
Yeah, I remember playing it, and I remember the game, and I just don't remember if I liked the game or not.
Looks kind of like BioShock, but it's kind of got like these sandbox worlds. You can.
I think like I don't know if I'm ready for more of that kind of game yet.
So. I'm like Dishonored was so different than like Deus Ex, right? Like Deus Ex, I burnt out on because there's too many fucking reading emails.
Sure.
And there's a new one of those this year, and I'm excited about it because I think like they can make that formula a lot better. But Dishonored was what I wanted Deus Ex to be. I really liked the setting, right? The kind of like whaler town. It was kind of industrial, kind of not, kind of going through a second industrial revolution.
Yes, and the where they killed the whales and
and like use their oil for like fuel. Like that was
fucked up shit.
Yeah, it was super cool. And I liked that the world would get darker and darker as you kind of like killed more in it. And then like you kind of get different permutations on the ending. I remember it's very anticlimactic. Like the ending is super like there's no final boss. Not that there needed to be, but it just kind of ends. And then it like just like I remember quick cutting to like a very still image scene of like, all right, well, this is the ending. But like the god that gives you superpowers and whatever, and like him being like this weird guy who just kind of fucks with the world, and he's just like a dude. I remember that being really cool. And I wanted to explore kind of like the religious aspects of those worlds.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of things where people in power are just dudes.
It's yeah. I mean, yes, I know you're kidding, but yes, it's cool. Like Dishonored had a lot of style, and I thought like mechanically it wasn't crazy interesting. It was a little rough around the edges, but I really like Dishonored was much like Deus Ex, Mankind Divided or whatever. It was again, it was like the sequel to this, like where they kind of figured out what people liked and what people didn't like, and they kind of build on that is going to be great. So, and Barrett said, follow up. Do we think the follow up to Infinite Warfare will be Beyond Warfare?
Beyond.
God, I hope not. Like, I want to fight aliens in Call of Duty, though. Whatever the next one is, I want to fight aliens in it.
Call of Duty in VR, that's next.
That's true. That is next. I would play the shit out of that. As long as it ran at a decent frame rate.
And you had the VR stuff.
Yeah. And I wasn't poor. Thank you for the tweets.
Twits.
Again, the twats.
Gross.
I know. You can tweet your questions at IrrationalPod with hashtag IPQ. Do you want to listen to Silver PR's voicemail? Do you want to listen?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Let me pull it up. Check email. Remember if you do not want to pay the voicemail tax, the standard long distance fee when you call in, you can also email us an audio file and we can play that as well. That's how Silver PR sends his voicemails in.
I thought you were just like telling Silver PR that now, and I was like, God, you are terrible. That man's probably paid so much money to send us voicemails.
I don't. I like. Do you have to pay a long distance fee when you call from Puerto Rico?
I don't know.
It's technically United States territory. Well, it is United States. There's no technically.
Technically.
I'm getting.
Technically, they're included.
I'm like, can I save this? Every time I try and open Silver PR's voicemail, it's saying there was an error downloading the file.
I mean, you should probably get your files straight.
All right, we'll play our other voicemail, and I will figure this out. So this other voicemail comes in from our good friend Katie Kisling, who's been on the show before.
Hey.
Hi, my name's Kate Kissler, and I like.
I think it's just Mark.
And Uncharted and stuff. Direct Passions, yeah. Love you guys. Katie Kissling. Bitch, get out of my way.
God, there's so many posers out here nowadays trying to pretend to be you. Hi guys, it's Katie.
Hi, Katie.
I don't know what the purpose is of me calling in, but I hope that it has some entertainment value for you guys. Anyway, yeah, video games and stuff, and yeah, on the spot and stuff. Anyhow, have an awesome time listening to the Irrational Passions podcast and me making a fool of myself. By the way, Mark was totally all in drag when he said that.
Baby!
Perfect. Shirt and everything. Wig and everything. Beautiful. I'll send a picture.
Okay.
Anyway.
Please send a picture.
Yeah.
Oh, my phone turned itself off. Sorry.
Wow, we did good.
That was it. That was the end, though.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
Typically people ask questions.
I honestly, I just want to hear 45 minutes of Mark's Katie impression.
Yeah, it was really good.
If you're unfamiliar with Mark and Katie Kisling, they're lovely. They're good people.
Yeah, they're good peoples.
You can follow Mark on Twitter. You can follow him at Mark_Kisling. That's KISLING. And it's funny because the voice to text on Google was like Carrie Kisling or Carrie Kissing, and I'm like, that's not the name. That's wrong.
Not even close.
God damn it. I'm trying to open this fucking voicemail from Silver PR. All right, I'm gonna have to finagle something real quick. Can I just view this? All right, I'm gonna play it off my computer, Tony.
This is gonna be awful.
And if you talk, you're gonna hear yourself, and it's gonna like double record you. Just so you know.
Hello.
Well, you're not yet.
Oh, this is
I'm
awful
gonna be-
already.
Yeah. Here we go.
What up, guys? So we are here. I hope everybody's doing all good and well. My shout outs to Brian, Nabashin, Jackson, because we miss you, buddy. Well, at least I miss your voice. I miss you in the show. So when you're ready, come back.
When you're ready, come back.
What should I talk about? I'm just going to talk about one thing about playing video games. I did play some Rocket League Hoops mode. It's baller. And Guy on Street Fighter 5 is a character, so gross, but it's an okay character for everybody else. It plays well for those that utilize him well. But what I really want to talk about is about the Overwatch beta. I was in a crossroads a couple months ago between Uncharted 4 and The Division. Then my girlfriend gifted me The Division and then say, okay, I'll buy Uncharted 4. Now I play the Overwatch beta. And now again in another crossroads because the way Overwatch rewards you, caters to the player and whatnot, feels more entertaining for me, the multiplayer, than a multiplayer in Uncharted 4. So I guess I'm gonna rent Uncharted 4, play the single player, and then move on from that game until it gets cheaper and I buy it later. Because the multiplayer is okay in Uncharted 4. I had fun with the beta, I believe, a couple months ago, but I think I'm gonna have more fun with Overwatch, playing what I have played, and I'm gonna play it in the. Pretty much by the time you guys record it, I'll be playing every night that beta, and it's gonna be it's so much fun. Diva and May are my favorite characters as of now, and I'm utilizing them as I think I should do, and having a lot of success with them. So yeah. So kudos for Blizzard doing a Team Fortress style game that I think it could go all the way. And it's just the beginning. Maybe they add more characters along the way. But as of now, the game is very colorful, really pretty, a lot of personality between the characters. It's an awesome game. That's pretty much about me. Side tangents. The CPT tour round up for May came up. I had to give my shout outs to Alex. Thank you for helping me post this project. And also, especially Mike Martin, aka Bizarro Mike, from Yahoo Esports. He gave me some pointers and tips about writing articles, and also a shit ton of not grammatical errors, but more like statistic and informational stuff that I wrote wrong. And holy shit, thank you, Michael, for that, because I don't know why that I did those, but I correct them. The article is pretty much 99.9% accurate before that. So yeah, it's thank you, Michael, for all the tips and also the recommendations that you gave me. I'll hopefully will use them in the future for next articles and whatnot. So yeah, it's a labor of love. I do it out of enthusiasm because I want to be kept engaged with the Capcom Pro Tour this year because it's a new, fresh game and whatnot, and I'm interested in how that game evolves throughout the year and how people receive it and behave in their gameplay throughout the year. So yeah. And that's pretty much about that. One last thing before I go. I'm living in my new place now. It's been like a week.
Congrats.
And it's awesome. Pretty much brought down everything from the old house to the new place. And, I'm still have to set up a couple things. But the most important thing, I upgraded my internet because it was a damn fucking time to do that. I was used to be 10 down, 1 up. Now I'm 40 down, 5 up. So it's kind of awesome. Now I feel like I'm playing games the right way sometimes. Not that I was lagging or whatnot, but now I feel like I'm not lagging at all. So it's kind of cool. But that's pretty much about me, guys. Before I go, I just want to give you a quick question. In the past, maybe we stumble with a video game or arcade cabinet that was really rare that we didn't saw. Yeah, we saw for the first time, and maybe we didn't saw it maybe for a long time or never. And then just to play it with emulators and whatnot. My case was like before I was a teenager, I found this arcade cabinet in a Pizza Hut, someplace at the other side of my country, because we were on a road trip, and it was a game called Tubin. There was two dudes on a river, on inflatable donuts and whatnot, and there was just very rare, and the controls were really rare and whatnot because it was multiple buttons. It wasn't the traditional joystick buttons kind of thing. If you don't know about that game tubing, just Google it. You will see what I mean. And I never saw that arcade cabinet before, not even in timeouts and whatnot in my lifetime. I'm just stumbled with the game. Then later, using MAME and getting the ROM. I know it's wrong, but Jesus, I didn't play that game in 2 decades afterwards. So yeah. Did you guys have stumbled with a video game on an arcade cabinet in the past and never saw it years after you needed to find other ways to try to play that game? So yeah, that's pretty much about me, guys. Sorry for the long voicemail. It's been a couple of weeks now I haven't been here, so I'm just giving you extra content here. So without further ado, guys, I love you all. Have a fun one. Civil PR signing out.
I love you too. Hold on 1 second, Timmy. There we go. Sorry about the buzzing, the beeping.
It was fine.
Thank you for the voicemail, Silver PR. That's good. I've definitely had not really arcade cabinets because you and I didn't really grow up around arcades.
Nope.
But
I played some arcade machines when I was at the pizza place.
Yeah, the pizza place, the laser tag place.
I mean, I'd still go to the laser tag place. We should go.
We should go.
Just you versus me, shooting at the stupid targets up on the wall to get the power ups, and then never finding each other.
I went laser tagging with a bunch of our coworkers not too long ago, and it was super weird but fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying, I guess for me, for a long time, it was Tomba, right? Tomba was that game that I played because my uncle owned a video store, a video rental store, when I was a kid. It was my parents' store, and then they sold it to my uncle, and they went off and got different jobs. So coolest uncle, right? I could hang out there when I was younger. They had video games for rent. I could rent them for free, as long as I brought them back and didn't break them. And yeah, I would rent a bunch of games because there was no reason not to. So I rented Tomba, and it was that thing of wow, this game is crazy and awesome. And obviously now as an adult, I just know it's because it was a cool Metroidvania.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just so different and so novel, and years and years went by. I was like, man, what was that game? I couldn't remember it. I just remember it had the protagonist with the pink hair. And then I found an emulator and played it after 10 years after it, I'd initially played it ever. There were a couple of N64 games like that as well for me. Did you ever have one of those? I feel like everybody did.
Duck Hunt.
I feel like you knew what Duck Hunt was, though.
Duck Hunt was one of the second game I ever played.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh. Hard to say. I need some time to think about it.
Yeah. Normally we have a little bit more fill time because there's more of us. So, yeah, I don't know. There are probably a handful of SNES games like that for me as well, and a couple N64 games.
Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, man, a lot of probably games I should forget that I've tried to remember, and they'll haunt me forever. And I still get that with some things, where I'm like, what is this video? This YouTube video I watched, and God, I remember it was fucking hilarious. And years of searching later, you find it, and it's probably just really disappointing. Thank you for the voicemail, Silver PR. Yeah, Overwatch versus Uncharted, right? I don't know if I give a shit about a multiplayer online shooter right now.
Sure.
I don't know where you're at with that.
I don't think I do.
I've had no want to play any multiplayer outside of maybe some cooperative stuff like Dark Souls and whatever at all. less so than normal. Like Splatoon, I love, but I'm also like I really just don't want to play online, so I kind of like drop that, and I really just want to like sink my teeth into more and more single player games. So that's why it's part of the reason why I haven't even touched Overwatch, because like
Yeah, I really do want to take a look at that game. So
it seems like Overwatch seems like so different because everyone that touches it and plays it seems to love it. So
mhm.
unlike Battleborn, which
we'll
apparently
we'll have to play some. Yeah, a lot of people are not super hype on Battleborn.
that
I've got a
game's,
Battleborn pin though.
that game's out.
Yeah, it's out.
Which it fucking hit and nobody
That's
noticed.
scary.
Yeah, came
'Cause
out on Tuesday.
I mean, if only they had a deal with Uberborn.
Uberborn. There's a title. There's somebody can write that down.
Yeah, someone in the world will write that down.
I don't know. I want to get into like an Overwatch-esque game. Like the Gears of War 4 beta, multiplayer beta was out, and I had access to that forever, and I never played it.
Whoops.
Yeah, and I am excited about Gears of War 4, but I'm excited about the single player. So, well. If you'd like to be a part of the show, like all these lovely people that have written in and corresponded in, you can do it one of three ways. You can send us a voicemail, 404-590-1337. Standard long distance fees do apply for that. And let us know a question, probably preferred. But, you could pull a Jarrett Green and
do whatever you want. No one runs your life except for you.
Make a statement. You can send us an email, mailsack@irrationalpassions.com. is the email address, or you can tweet us at IrrationalPod. That's our Twitter handle for the show with the hashtag IPQ. It's Irrational Passions Questions.
Oh.
You can follow each of us on Twitter as well. I'm at AlFighter27.
Hold on.
Oh.
There's something that has to happen.
Okay.
That you may have overlooked.
I didn't, but okay.
So there's this thing that we do every week where
somebody
has to call in, and then you can be like Katie and be awesome. And this week, or really look forward to next week, the voicemail of one Trevor Starkey.
Oh shit! There you go.
Anyway, back to it.
Trevor's out there somewhere like, Jesus,
fucking these guys, these children.
Like, I have to break this. You can follow each of us on Twitter. I'm at AlFighter27. Tony's at Tony Horvath, all one word. Fuck those other guys.
Yeah.
Some other stuff. Rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. That helps us out a lot. Go to VGEvo.com. Check out the podcast network there that we're a part of. Check out our little sister show, Malicious Pod X. Still working out the RSS feed issues of that. Twitch.tv/Irrational Passions. We're streaming every week. Mostly me playing Dark Souls, some of Tony playing Dark Souls. Go to our YouTube page, youtube.com/Irrational Passions. I hope people like this. Fucking Resident Evil 6 started this week. That's a great playthrough. And then more, I think, Omega Quintet next week. And then Tony and I have to record more.
Yeah, how many do we have left? A lot.
I have 4 left.
That's not bad.
So we'll have to record more soon. And tell your friends. Word of mouth is the best way to spread the love. And for everything else, Irrational Passions, irrationalpassions.com. More pack stuff coming up. I still have one preview left and an opinion piece. And
I'm almost done.
And he keeps telling me he's doing something.
I'm working on something.
Do I want to do a closing topic?
It's been hard to find time this past week working so much, but
yeah,
we can do a closing topic.
What do you want to do?
Whatever Scott's closing topic is, let's do that.
Well, Scott needs to be here for his closing topic.
Okay.
It's Scotty Doesn't Know, where he helps us decide what game he's playing.
Right.
Next. We can Netflix and chill.
But I don't think I've done something like that recently.
Okay. Then let's do recommendations.
Okay.
Have you watched anything worth recommending?
There's this cool other podcast that I know about. And really it's a whole thing. Like they do YouTube videos and a whole bunch of other stuff.
It's a media empire.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you've heard of them, Alex. But the Kind of Funny guys, they're pretty good.
They're pretty good.
I'd say if like Irrational Passions is a 10, Then Kind of Funny is probably like a solid 6.5. So
I hope Greg Miller never sees this.
I mean, like, because if we were thinking about it, like, as far as wrestling goes, like, those guys are awful, but as far as like covering games and stuff and just being some cool dudes, I'd say a solid 6.5.
Okay. I can live with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those Kind of Funny guys are great. I do want to take a moment, shout out our good friend Roger Picorni, and the Bonus Points crew in general. The two hosts of Bonus Points, Roger Picorni, who's been on the show, and Caleb Scythomal, they're both great, talented kids that are younger than us and are going to take our jobs someday, I'm sure. Roger put out, he started a new show on his YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Rog Former. That's ROG Former. And that's where Bonus Points, their podcast, goes up and everything. So if you haven't checked that out, I would watch that show. It's actually a really good show. It's one of my favorite shows, like of like the podcasts that my friends do. It's the only one that I really watch, which, so I'm a bad friend, but I really enjoy it. They talk about me a lot on that show. I don't know why. I don't know what the obsession is. But Roger put out a video called In Defense of Arkham Origins. It's kind of, like I said, it's this new show, the Rog Former Show, new format. It's very well edited, well cut together. And he has a great argument about Arkham Origins and kind of how that plays into like the Rocksteady trilogy, as they keep calling it. It is not a part of that necessarily, but it should be a part of those Arkham games. And if they do a remaster of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, it should be there as well. And I agree with him on that. I don't necessarily agree with him on some of like his defense points, but I think it was a really great argument, and I love that kid. So you should definitely check that out, and check out Bonus Points, and check out CalebTalks.com. That's Caleb basically does all the written stuff, and Roger does all the video stuff. I believe it's CalebTalks.com. So you can see links to Bonus Points there, and a bunch of stuff that he's written there. And he's great. He's a great writer, and hopefully I'll be working with him on some cool new stuff soon. So,
and while we're kind of in the ending part of the show of the week of Trevor, you should check out Trevor Trove. Trevor does some cool stuff and puts that up on that website.
Yeah, he writes a lot.
He writes a lot of stuff. I watched him in a bed writing things before.
Yeah. In the room, he writes, I think, like 700 words every day. Around there. I write like closer to like 200 or 300 words every day, just for reference of like, I think he's like approaching 150 of Don't Break the Chain.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is, it's amazing. Like, that dude's awesome, and we love him.
Yeah.
And he needs to do video and podcasts as well.
Yes.
Got to get on that game, Trevor.
You need to show off of your luscious locks more.
Yeah, he's got super good hair.
Yeah. I just want to bury my face in it.
But yeah, like check out the In Defense of Arkham Origins. So seriously, I'm trying to, there was like one other thing like I saw this week that I really wanted to talk about, but it's lost on me. Oh, I wanted to bring this up to you.
Okay.
This was under the assumption that we were gonna. I meant to talk about it during bonus content, not bonus points, or Netflix and chill. I have it in my notes here of things to talk about in the podcast that I keep forgetting to bring up. That's why I should write them down more. So Game of Thrones.
Okay.
No spoilers, don't worry. I'm watching Game of Thrones now, as it releases. And I'm going through this weird like moment of like, is Game of Thrones the Full Metal Alchemist of television shows?
Why?
So like season 6, they're now off book, right?
Yeah.
So they're just doing their own thing. I'm wondering, like, the books were already kind of different, but like, is this just gonna go in its own direction, and then the books when they come out are gonna
completely different direction?
Yeah,
that'd be funny.
That would be funny. But like now, I've got this weird feeling watching the show of like, is this
is all not canon?
Yeah, is it like because I mean, there's a stigma against Full Metal Alchemist of like, well, it's not canon, so it's bad. But it's not bad. It's not as good as I think the true manga canon, manga. But it's different. It's its own thing. So I just had that weird existential moment watching Game of Thrones.
Sure. I just don't really watch Game of Thrones anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know.
some stuff's happening.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's it's not a bad TV show, but I'm just not super interested in it.
That's fair. That's a show. I think this
That
is a
is the
great.
show.
This is a great show, Tony.
I mean, what can I say? Speaks for itself.
I'm just saying, 2-man show. I think we did a great job.
Yep.
You and I. Metallics.
Gross. That is really. You should stop.
Metallics. Tonix. Aloni.
Stop it.
Thank you so much to everybody who is watching live. We really appreciate it. And to the people that send in questions and listen and everybody. We love you all so much. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for our opening music of 2-Player Co-op and our closing music of The World is Saved, respectively. There's some dope jams that you should check out. DannyWiesner.bandcamp.com. That's the whole show. Thank you, Tony, for joining me.
Mm-hmm.
Love you, winky face.
Gross.
I've been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your games, stay rational. We will talk to you all next week.
Titles. Dark Souls 3 star platinumed. The best episode of this podcast ever. Call of Duty whatever. Look the way he slurps his soup. What an asshole. And Uberborn.
I really like Uberborn.
Hey man, get that Uber watch.
I told Ethan and Damien about that, and they're like, "You didn't get in the fucking Lamborghini." I'm like, "It was a very popular service."
Yeah. Yeah, it was. They were constantly busy. I mean, up to you. I don't care. I think they're all good. I like this. I like the soup one. What an asshole!
What was that from?
That's really Game Grumps animated.
Oh yeah,
Ganon,
Yeah.
slurping his soup. That's why he's an asshole.
That's why he's such a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I finally watched the Jacob guest grumps this morning when I couldn't sleep. They were great.
Yeah.
I like Uberborn.
All right.
Do you want to say the episode number?
276.
276. Can you
That was I just did it.
Can you do it? Can you please not be difficult, Tony?
What if the show just started and it just said 276? Uberborn.
I would
And
be
it started.
furious.
And then it started. Okay, fine. This is the Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 2. 76.
Uberborn. I knew that's what you were gonna do, and I was just so done.
It's more that the last time I did it, I had dubbed. I believe it was last week. I dubbed the show episode 1.
Episode 1.
So this was episode 2.
We haven't even hit 300 yet, Tony. We can't end it yet.
Yeah.
We should end the show at 300 though.
Yeah, we should just change the name, rebrand.
Yeah.
Come out as the Very Funny Podcast.
The very funny, as opposed to the kind of funny podcast.
Yep.
Thank you all for listening. You can stop recording now, Tony.
I mean,
as opposed to last week when you recorded for like 45 extra minutes.
Did I?
Yeah.
What did I even do?
I don't know. You're talking something about Dark Souls to Scott, I guess. Video viewers, we love you all. Thank you so much for watching, hanging in there. We appreciate it.